We're ready to rock and roll. Your headphones are right on the armrest there.
Yeah. Do I have the Filato Point?
Yes, sir.
All right. Filato Point becoming a staple saying in radio. Very special podcast. We're an hour and 21 minutes late, which is a record. The great Anthony Bozza here. What's up, buddy?
Hello. How you doing, my friend?
Call him AB.
Yeah.
And the great Dave Juskow, DJ.
What's up?
And ironically, you have nicknames for something you aspired to be. And so do I. I want to be an American League umpire. Or ASL, asshole. My middle name is Steven, and it's ASL. And they said, my uncle got me a cigar thing and said ASL. I'm like, I never realized that. And my Uncle Frank, the guy goes, you see that guy?
Oh, yeah.
What did he say? He recognized it before anybody. He said, hey, asshole, give me a cigar. I said, what? It was the hit of my cousin Michael DeAngelis' wedding. That was the big Uber. Terrible band. He had a band. You're going to think I'm lying. I'm not kidding. This is the name of the band from Staten Island. A doo-wop Italian band called Benny Bouton and the Boston Shorts. And a Boston Short is a pastry. And Bouton means whore, right? So this guy was Benny Bouton, and he was like a poor man's Deion Sanders. He sang The Wanderer like Deion Sanders. Yo, you the type of guy that can roam around town to town, motherfucker. I'm the Wanderer. I do a 4-1-40. Deion Sanders, supposedly the fastest human. He supposedly ran 40 yards in 4 seconds. Think about that. From a still, Dave, in the combines, right? They're from a still position, right? They're like from this. When they do the 40, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So the 40-yard dash, I guess, it's what they test receivers and defensive backs. It's always based on the 40-yard dash. They don't care about the nose guards, 40-yard dash. But no one's ever done it under 40, under 4 seconds. 4 fucking seconds. Try that in your backyard. That is a fast person. Like that's when he would return a kick and he had momentum, forget it. The guy was the fastest thing. And he would do it while playing the dozens with the guy behind him, like talking about a white defensive back's mother. Yo, your mother's like night. Your mother's so black she went to night school they marked her absent. Touchdown. And then he hit 312 for the Braves. People
forget about that. Yeah.
And
was he also on the Reds too?
Was he on the Reds?
Yeah.
He has a ring with the Braves in '95. He had a World Series ring.
Oh, he has a ring with the Braves? I didn't know that.
And 3 Super Bowl rings.
Wow.
Name the teams with the Bulls and how many rings with each.
49ers.
Right, that's 1.
Cowboys?
2 with the Cowboys.
2 with the Cowboys.
Yeah,
wow.
He got Jerry Rice so fucking mad. He felt Jerry Rice felt that he went with the team that he went with the Niners, and then the Niners lost everybody, and he went to the Cowboys, who were clearly the favorites, and then he beat Jerry Rice.
Wow.
Jerry Rice was so fucking mad. Those guys who were so competitive like that, like those great guys, he was so mad, and I think some reporter said something snooty. And Jerry Rice goes, "Get the fuck out of my face." Unlike him.
Yeah. Yes.
Are you a Giant fan, Dave, or a Jet guy?
Jets.
All right.
But I go to all the Giants
What a
games.
depressing answer.
I know, but I go to the Giants games because it's a classier tailgate.
Okay, well, do you root for...
I do not root for the Giants.
That's not true. Well, how is it a classier tailgate then? You're there, you're taking up a ticket of someone who might like the Giants.
Well, sometimes I only go to the tailgate.
That's horrible.
But I am taking up a ticket most of the times for somebody who might like the Giants.
Do you realize if there was a magazine called Loser, the cover every week could be a guy at a tailgate party who doesn't go to the game?
Centerfold.
We've been in...
When I go to the game, I usually hang out at the Campo Wine Bar.
What do you do?
I hang out at the Campo Wine Bar.
Yeah, that's what all the tough guys do.
It's a view of the parking lot.
Who's the
I like
Campo
parking lot.
Wine Bar?
That's in the Giant Stadium.
You mean wine like WHINE?
Well, I drink beer there, but it's the Campo Wine Bar.
You run by going, why are we not going?
I watch the Red Zone channel there.
Why are we? I'm Mr. Weinbar. Why am I cold? My shoes aren't hot enough. Why did you take my blanket? Why is the bris tomorrow? I mean, who has a bris on Sunday? I don't know why the Moyle is drunk or the Mosul. What's the name of the guy who cut your dick? A Mosul?
A Moyle.
Oh, a Moyle. I got it right the first time.
Yeah.
I did a character called Suzanne Moyle. Big fat ugly broad who cut your dick. With an excellent voice. Did she die? Somebody on Twitter said I look like Susan Boyle. I want to kill him.
I think she's still alive.
I thought she was still alive, but somebody yelled in St. Louis that she died, right?
No.
Where was it?
It was on the radio show this morning.
Oh, okay.
What an odd heckle. Hey, that joke sucks. Susan Boyle died. Hey, asshole. You told that joke already. I told you Susan Boyle died, right? You got any jokes about that? How about being topical?
She's still alive.
Yeah.
They hit her with 5 shots and she's still alive.
That's
Well,
bad
that's-
luck for you.
Bad luck for Simon Cowell. Bad luck for Clay Aiken if he don't make that deal. Bad luck for Ruben Studdard. By the way, how long before Ruben Studdard's 600-pound life airs? What happened to him?
Yeah, seriously.
Could you imagine your first name is the name of your favorite food? That's his nickname. There's my brother, double cheeseburger, Studdard. I like Reuben. I like Jews. Yeah, he disappeared.
Yeah.
And he's the size of...
They all disappeared.
they did kind of. It's hard for him to disappear, too.
Yeah, Aiken did a bunch of stuff.
Who won? Did Reuben won, right?
Who did?
Clay
Yeah.
Aiken.
Right, he was second,
Right?
right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they still disappeared now. I mean, but yeah, Ruben won.
What was
the
it?
second after Kelly Clarkson.
Clarkson.
Right?
Were you
Yeah.
the fact that you know that?
Only the hot blonde one does. Is around all the time. The country singer.
Name who won the World Series those same years.
Damn it.
Name
The Mets.
Well, we know that's not true.
Son of
Unless
a
it was
bitch.
on in 73, 69. I was watching a 30-30 about Bill Buckner. Have you seen that, by the way?
No.
Unfucking believable. And his stats for his career are insanely good. He hit .317 lifetime. I think he has 400 homers. He's remembered for a ball dribbling through his fucking legs. Yeah, he was
I know.
crying. They came in 2004. They vindicated him. And what about Steve Bartman? Is that going to happen, Dan? Opening day for the Cubs? Will Steve Bartman be vindicated?
He doesn't want to have anything. He doesn't want
You look
any
exactly
publicity.
like him.
That's my favorite.
You look like you're... I mean, think about how God works. The guy that God picked to have that happen to is like looks like a nerd serial killer in a B movie, and is such a nerd. He's listening to the game. He's watching. And not talking or socializing with any of the people around him.
I would have taken that Florida Marlins job that they offered him. Like,
What was it?
I think after that they offered
that's
him a job
right.
at the Marlins. I would have taken that. I would have been like, "Fuck you, Cubs."
Well, you know what? You bring up such a great point. Here's the thing here's the flip side, the silver lining, if you will, to being a GOAT fan for a team in sports. There's another city where you're a hero.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's another city where
I would have moved there.
Like, in other words, it's like if I moved to Denver, I look like John Stamos. There's something in the air that when I get to Denver, I look like John Stamos. But yet I still have my wit.
It's the altitude.
Right. And I still have my wit. Why would I... How fast do you think I'd be at a travel agent going, how much to fucking Denver?
Yeah.
And then I'd start fucking at the airport. I go up to every flight attendant. Listen, I'm not sure how I do this. And they would go, what do you mean? Let's fuck. That's probably how easy it is. What do you mean? What are you trying to talk? You're trying to make a joke? You don't have to make me laugh. Let's fuck. And then I'll just go back to my husband. I don't know if I could tell that story I told Dan. Remember I told you I went to LA and I had an audition?
Yes.
Yeah. It was me and 35 models.
Wow.
Wow.
And they weren't guys. It wasn't Marcus Schenkenberg.
Tyson Beckford chilling out.
No, it wasn't Tyson Beckford. but there was someone with his exact skin tone. There was one particular girl that I started talking to, and I went up in that bedroom. Now, she wouldn't fuck me, but I was in the bed with her, and we were talking, and she had that soft model touch, and she told me she was getting a lot of work in bridal magazines, and, I told her I played a pig in a sketch called Baywatch. And she said, "Excuse me," and I pecked her on the cheek a little bit, and I may or may not have, went to CelebrityNetWorth.com, which of course says what I should have.
Right.
They weren't there when the Broncos didn't cover it, and I, when we talked, she would never fuck, but I had so much fun just talking, and I missed the audition.
Wow.
I didn't go to the reason I was there. My agent tried to get me for 2 days, and I just never talked to him. And he goes, "Where were you?" I go, "None of your fucking business. But you have to, I promised this girl you'd sign her." Does she do stand-up?
I totally get that.
I
can get
missed
just
this.
hanging
Yeah,
out,
have you
being
done
like-
that? Have you missed a big thing in life for a girl because you're laying in bed with a supermodel?
No, I've never had anything to miss.
We all have our stories.
But I would definitely sit there and be like,
Dave actually does have a lot of great girls. You have a ton of them. And I think Anthony, with Tommy Lee, a similar thing with Tommy Lee, right? He was getting over. Is that true?
Yep. He was. He had just broken up with Prince's ex-wife. Was his fiance for 2 years.
Well, is that why Prince went on fentanyl?
Yeah.
He was thinking about the size of his cock and his ex-wife. Who was the ex-wife?
yeah, I didn't know Prince was married.
Maite Garcia.
Well, right.
She's telling him.
Was she Raspberry Beret?
No. She was Egyptian and Puerto Rican.
Oh my God, that's the best combination ever.
Yeah, she
Could you imagine pissing on the pyramids? You're on a camel with 14 of your cousins. Yo, we're getting over the hopes.
Yeah, he was getting over that.
Oh wow. So did you feel? Was he sad?
Yeah, yeah, pretty sad.
I bet a few of the same models were there. If he fucked my girl.
He went to he brought me to the Playboy Mansion with him to the Midsummer Night's Dream party, and it was the first time he'd ever been there single. Imagine what that was like. Imagine what that was.
Wait a minute, he wouldn't go. He would just. Why go if you got somebody?
Well, because he was with Pamela.
Right.
He was always sort of married.
Oh, right. Well, that
Back in
also
the
she was a
day,
Playboy person too. So
You know the confidence you got. Right, exactly. Well, that's true. The connection there, but you know the confidence you have to have in the fact that you can keep a woman if you take her to that party. Because I was almost in it. I could see inside. I went with 4th of July, 1998, is when he had it that year, and I was actually at the best party. Not true. My Rasta Coke dealer got me to 2 better parties. One was technically an orgy, where the guy came on my.
Oh, right. It was a classic story.
Not a lot. But
It wasn't a Bukkake video.
I mean, well, let me tell you something. No, it wasn't. Thank you. Okay, did I tell you? You know that story?
That's the story you told on Stern as the.
Well, the revelation.
The revelation.
First of all,
Heard it on Stern,
once again, I'm the only one playing the game properly. I told him I stole a car once. He goes, "Not good enough." I go, "Cause it's me." If fucking Robin said it,
Right.
and she's black. He goes, "Not good enough, stealing a car." I go, "Well, all right, technically," I told Will, technically a guy came on my chest. I said, you could technically say Guardian's Revelation is a guy came on his chest. And you find me a better moment in the history of that fucking show when it's down to 2 people, me and Benji, who could have that as the revelation. And everyone thinks it's Benji because he's just going for a bit, right?
Definitely would have thought.
And then Howard goes, "Okay, start talking." The one who had somebody come on his chest. And Howard actually said, "Okay, Benji, what's the story? What's the joke?" There's a pause, and then I go, "So I get invited to this party." All right? Followed by Howard, who is now a gay activist, going, "Faggot." The times are changing. Yeah. Well, again, Anthony has a lot of great experiences. He's done books with the right people.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
You were with me in my shore house when I was getting over Xanax.
Yeah.
That wasn't as fun. Now, were you the one who kicked that kid in the pool and drowned him?
Oh man.
Kid Rock was on the Stern Show once, and he said that he had a kid with Pam Anderson, didn't he?
No, they were married, but man, does he hate Tommy?
Yeah, no, he does. Well, that's why. Okay, right there. Kid Rock seemed a little confrontational.
Yeah.
And but the problem with the Kid Rock Pam Anderson thing, the writing was on the wall. He was taking her to Detroit once every week, and she for some reason didn't like Detroit. Pam Anderson sitting by the pool in Malibu.
Yeah, exactly.
And Kid Rock goes, "Hey, honey, come on, it's March in Detroit.
God,
We're going to see Seeger." And she's sitting by the pool. Like Melania Trump, do you know how pissed off she was? She's in a gold tub. People are fucking. She was in Slovenia. Our father, there's probably one bathroom in the house she grew up in. Her father was probably a big fat guy from Slovenia, shitting in a fucking chamber pot, like Angela's ashes. And then she's 14 and she spurts up one fucking summer like Larry Bird. And she goes, "I go America." And if she goes to America and meets a wealthy dentist, it's a jackpot. Like if she went to a dentist who has a beautiful home.
right?
Right? Outside of, Virginia, Salt Lake City or something.
Steady paycheck.
Exactly. And they go to fucking the Caribbean. Like, they have a nice sandals account.
Or Atlantis if they're really balling.
Atlantis, and they gamble, but the guy's very good with his money. He doesn't have a Goyish cup. And she has a kid. The worst part is the kid looks like the Jewish dentist, which is called pulling a Billy Joel.
All of her traits just recede.
Right. Boy, I tell you what, Billy Joel has strong traits.
Yeah, totally.
Is that Christy Brinkley or the Piano Man? Is that a happy-go-lucky supermodel or a guy depressed because he can't get work?
It's like the cover of
Playing
The
the piano.
Stranger.
Remember what she tried to
The cover of The Stranger.
she tried to commit suicide, and she was like, "No, and they tried to cover it up." I'm like, "Of course she tried to commit suicide."
Yeah.
It's like, Christy Brinkley, Billy Joel, and you get Billy Joel's looks and none of his talent. It's the worst
Do
story
you
ever.
know how guilty I'm going to feel if she listens to this podcast? One of her rich friends will probably say, "Did you hear the Artie Quitter?" Well, let's just say don't listen. Don't listen because Dave Juskow once again is being a jerk.
Her music's not terrible, but Billy Joel. I don't know.
Yeah, her music's not terrible.
Well, she say it's not about this. It's about but the first song she ever came up with was called "Notice Me."
Very good point.
Yeah.
Notice me, I'm drinking furniture polish.
My mom's still hot at 60. This is a nightmare.
Christy Brinkley will always be hotter than her.
Yeah.
Could you imagine your mom will always be better looking than you?
No, I can't.
Like if you're, I can. I will never be as good looking as Mrs. Juskow. But I got to tell you, how about Billy Joel's daughter going to Christy Brinkley? Hey, how about laying low on the sit-ups for a while? Why don't you let something attach itself to your hip? Every time Christy Brinkley eats, her daughter gets fatter. There's a weird phenomenon. The doctor goes, Edslow, listen, we're at the Shriners Hospital, and your daughter has eaten nothing but one cashew and boiled water, and is actually bulimic. She throws up the boiled water, and she's 280 pounds. And every time you have a piece of cheesecake, she gets fatter. What a great movie,
Right?
I'm pitching actually this movie that where a terrorist in ISIS tears his rotator cuff beheading a guy, and he has to get Jihadi John surgery. The laugh that got in St. Louis, I'm going to tell you, because they're baseball fans, they erupted.
I heard that was an amazing weekend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for a lot of reasons.
Right.
Yeah. Eventful.
Yeah, but the stand-up was on all cylinders, man.
Wow.
It was a good crowd. They laughed at all that stuff, all those one-liners, at a lot of the current event stuff. They were very hip. They laughed at that. I said, of course, baseball fans. Appreciate this. St. Louis has a very dear place in my heart because the first chick I ever fucked looked like Joaquin Underwood. Do you know how much fun it is to tell a joke that gets a big laugh and the punchline is Joaquin Underwood? And then Chuck Berry died, who was a St. Louis legend. And Chuck Barris, do you know this? Died 2 days later.
Yes.
Chuck Barris?
Yeah. Chuck Barris and Chuck. Okay, listen.
that's funny.
Chuck Barris and Chuck Berry died within the same week. I called my bookie in Staten Island. I had that. If my uncle Charlie Behringer dies, I will win $700,000. Chuck Berry and Chuck Barris died.
I didn't even think of it. I didn't put that together. That's really funny.
You know how they're connected? They both pissed in the same whore's mouth. Chuck Berry, of course, was married 68 years, a wife who apparently was Helen Keller, Mrs. Keller.
She didn't follow social media.
Neither did Mrs. Sandusky, apparently. Hashtag your husband fucked me. Hashtag poor me, I'm the center for Penn State. Mrs. Sandusky, of course, was cooking the pot roast 2 feet from a boy getting raped. And she didn't realize why her husband, Jerry Sandusky, would always go to the World Series every year in August. The Little League World Series. When the Pope visited in September, him and the Cardinals were disappointed because they missed the World Series. They wanted to go, and of course the mayor said, "No, that's not till October." And they said, "No, the Little League." They wanted to have the championship Taiwan team on their plane. That Taiwanese team that won last year, I'll tell you what, I'm very secure in my sexuality. There's not one of them I wouldn't fuck in. I would have no pussy for 3 days in jail. And I would go, hey, Kawau. Come here, let me catch your slider. First of all, a lot of them are very tall, 6'2", so it's almost like a chick. Christine Yamaguchi looks like every one of them.
I don't care if it's Christy Yamaguchi.
She was the greatest piece of ass I ever had. Hannibal over the world. Oh, you'll love this, Dave, this Godfather reference. I told a story. James Caan James Caan and I are both in Elf, thank you.
All right.
And we sat at the same table at the premiere, and I got to know James Caan. And I made him laugh with these old Polish jokes. That's all you needed to do to make him laugh. And, of course, he comes up to my chin. Sonny Corleone. He sees me on the street outside our DirecTV thing. I was so proud. I hear, Artie Lang. I turn around, James Caan, Jimmy Caan. And I thought it was Madeline Caan. You know how disappointed you are if it's Scott Caan? No, I'm sorry. Yeah, right, exactly. Debbie Downer. It's not the guy from The Godfather. It's the guy from Ocean's 13.
Like triple build.
By the way, Casey Affleck's better in all 3 Oceans movies than he is in that janitor movie.
I agree.
What he's like? I mean, I've never seen. I get it. Less is more. He's just sitting there going, "Your toilet's clogged. My brother died. Your toilet. I don't give a fuck what you do. I'll be by the dumpster." He tells the director, "Did you get that? Am I in frame? Can we use 2 cameras? I'm trying to keep the character. Because the Academy's going to really like this." I was bored to death.
I can't believe you watched it.
Well, well, Dan loved it. Dan came home gushing over it.
Yeah.
Well, he admits that. He doesn't admit he liked Elizabeth Warren. He told me that was his favorite person. I never.
You know who didn't like it was Tan Filato.
I met Tan Filato in San Francisco. I'll tell you what.
He ran up on stage.
No way.
Yeah, and I said anything to kill time.
Wait,
Tan Filato. Well, he's a guy who follows us on Twitter at the beginning of the podcast and just made awful gay jokes about Dan. Like you could almost hear the bad lisp, and when he just
amazing.
Hey, it's Tan Filato.
And like the bronzer.
Yeah. We're here. We're queer. Hey, Dan, is your favorite movie The Queer of Living Dangerously? Like stuff like that.
Oh, man, amazing.
Hey, Dan, I just got the Cubs queer book. Everything was a bad pun.
Yeah.
So the actual guy came to the show?
Yes, well, he's from San Francisco.
Right.
And I was the only celebrity there. Aziz Ansari had Clint Eastwood. I had, and the head of Microsoft. By the way, the head of, I don't know if I did this. I had the head of Apple, the new Steve Jobs, is a gay guy, Tim Cook.
What?
And I tweeted out, I got in trouble again. I tweeted out that in the gay community, his cum is known as applesauce. And his urine is apple juice.
Oh, man. How did you get in trouble?
Well, people think that's people think I'm being insensitive. And by the way, is this kid on Silicon Valley or Big Bang Theory? Which is this kid? If one more millennial makes a drop the mic reference, I'm going to drop them.
He's definitely not on Big Bang Theory.
He's on Silicon Valley.
Okay, he's on Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Who watches that?
I've
Two
seen it.
people watch it. I should be bigger from crashing already. The fuck does he do on it? Says nerdy shit. Oh, I'll hook up your email. Fucko.
plays
Could
the
there be
really
anything
stressed out
hackier? Is there anything hackier than drop the mic already? Just, well, hey, look, I'm dropping the mic. Isn't this epic? You fucking cunt. Look at how epic I am dropping the mic. I got this. Terrible. Terrible when you have to pretend for a hot young chick that she's original and saying, you got this. Yeah, that's just our little thing, isn't it? No other of your twat fucking drunk girlfriends say it. Oh, you gotta be my girlfriend Jennifer. She's so funny. She says, drop the mic. Jesus Christ. Like what commercial writer said, we're gonna do a drop the mic thing. It's gonna be great. Like those commercial writers where you go in the audition and they're in the corner with a scotch and a wrinkled shirt like a depressed Hemingway because they wrote "Obey your thirst."
You're right.
Hit thirst. You're ruining my words. Obey your thirst. I'm writing a Joseph A. Bank commercial right now. I can't even talk. I'm going to Paris to meet Zelda. My city by the lights is no longer.
That's where I came up with Men's Warehouse. I like the way you look.
Yeah, of course.
It took me 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. I thought of drop the mic while I was sitting on the Thames. Where are you going? I'm going to the edge of the Thames to take acid and contemplate existence. And then I'm writing a Gap commercial. That was a great Mark Maron joke, an early Mark Maron joke. He said, everybody in the village now. Even back then, it was true. Like they all dress like a young Dylan, but they're not him. And you walk into a coffee shop, and there's a kid in the corner, and he looks like Dylan, look, with the hair and everything. And he's writing something. And you go, "What is he writing? Is it a poem, a song?" And you get there, it's application to work at the Gap. That was good. Our Maron ran through pussy, man. Yeah, back in the
Yep.
I think he learned when he stopped doing coke, a lot of the pussy went away too.
Yep.
Well, that was the old days. Nobody.
No, I remember because
Is that true?
we used to.
You did. I mean, Dave, what bullshit? I'm kidding.
Okay.
I know it's not bullshit. Dave's the first one who showed me a one hitter of coke.
See.
And John Benjamin to this day blames me for that. Because
mean?
a bullet of cocaine,
Yeah.
like a one hitter for weed, like
Yeah.
Juskow at a Christmas party for my manager. I was just a young kid who never did a drug before.
Were you 7?
No. I said, what is that? And it allowed just one line to come out.
Yeah.
It was conserving the blow. A typical Jew thing. It was a money saver.
It was just used for your nose, like for a one shot, and then you refill it.
It's not exactly a complicated concept. But I never saw it before. And you were even cool. I thought you were cool. You were even cooler. And you dated a beautiful girl. But at some point during the night, it was me, you, John Benjamin, Jen and her dollars, as you put them.
Jen's dollars.
I like Jen's dollars. And I like Jen.
Yeah.
And Dave. And I had that bullet of cocaine. And according to Benjamin, and Dave claims this is true, what year is this, 96?
Yeah, it would be.
It might have been the night we met.
No, we had met
We
previous
did?
to that.
Well, according
Catch a
to
Rising Star.
according to Variety, it's that's right. So
We had already known each other because that's
Right.
why I offered you the.
well, exactly. I think you kind of took a guess, and I sized you up hard, and I have a 1-hitter of cocaine. So I just gotten out of jail. I was on probation, and at some point, according to John Benjamin, because I heard him tell the story on a radio show.
Is that right?
He's the voice of Archer now.
Yep.
Yeah, he doesn't mention you. Because I think actually no, because he's afraid. But me, he's fine with it. So I had the 1-hitter out the window. He said I was holding it out the window, and I was speeding
Yeah.
in reverse, going the wrong way on Varick Street.
Wow.
Is that true, Dave?
In my mind, I don't remember the reverse, and I remember going down.
I was definitely in reverse speeding,
I just remember laughing.
but on Varick Street that was out of line.
I mean, I was just as hammered, so
avenue.
We did laugh.
Jen and I were laughing hysterically while Benjamin was
He was scared to
clutching
death.
his heart.
I thought he shit his pants, and I realized it was just like
he
bad.
doesn't drink. He doesn't
Well,
do
I
anything.
know. Well, I thought he shit his pants. I realized he was living in a loft with bad water pressure and never showered.
I mean, talk about talk about Jews. He wanted a free ride home.
I know.
Him and Todd Barry are the worst thing.
Oh, Todd
They'll
Barry.
take a ride home from anybody.
Todd Barry would take a ride home from the guy in the movie Vanished. If Todd Barry were in the movie Vanished and he knew Jeff Bridges did that to what's her name, Sandra Bullock, he'd go, "I'll take my chance."
I have a great picture of me driving Todd Barry, completely hammered, and he's in the back seat, all buckled up and terrified, and I'm like making this face, like, "What's up? What's up?
Right,
How are
Benjamin.
ya?"
That's right. Both very petite Jews. And
I'm gonna send you that picture. You gotta tweet it tomorrow.
Todd Barry was a very Jewish-looking guy, one of the funniest guys, really. But you're right about that. He will take a ride home.
Oh yeah,
And
from anybody.
If he was in the movie the Bone Collector with Denzel Washington, and he knew the cab driver that was killing the girl,
He's like, well, he'll
He'd
drop
go,
me off first, probably.
it would go. Are you going to kill that girl near the East Village? Hey, Bone Collector. It's Todd Barry.
It's true.
You told me you liked my set. Hey, you got any room? Is that girl tied up in the corner? Is there room? Because before you collect her bones, I'm on Avenue A.
He texted me today, and
Some
he
of the
told
best
me he was
stuff.
sitting next door to Christopher Walken. He was just sitting right next to him, and I guess in a restaurant or something.
He's one of those guys, Todd, that like all celebrities like this stuff because he's brilliant. But, and the fact that he looks, the way he looks is also something celebrities like because they feel like they're able to be with regular people who don't have perfect bone structure. He was good friends with Moon Unit Zappa.
Is that right?
Yeah, and he brought her into gigs. And she, I just don't know if she got a lot of the jokes.
You're kidding.
She goes, my dad named one of us in 1967, the other one in 1981, my stepsister. I'm Moon Unit, and she's Jennifer. Which one was 67? And what was Dweezil, 75?
I guess that's the end.
Yeah, the room very dark during commercials. Not a lot of sounds.
Well, you know what happened last time?
What's
you
the matter?
left? We were supposed to talk, and it was me and Mario, and I just gave up.
Well, guess who did that on purpose?
Listen, you son of a
Did you not think I was... Mario Cantone? Was that Mario Cantone?
Not that faggot, you motherfucker.
Oh, my God. You know what?
That's uncanny.
That's like Fred Travalina. By the way, Richard Lewis, one of the best jokes of all time is Richard Lewis, circa 85 on Letterman. This is how funny Letterman used to be before Cameron Diaz would do 30 minutes about a story about going to high school with Snoop Dogg. Richard Lewis told this joke. He goes, Dave, I go to boxing and I love boxing, but they're stopping the fights too soon. The referee sees one of the guys get hit once and he goes, who's Fred Travalina? I don't know. It's over. Who's Fred Travalina? I don't know. It's over. That is just like, that's the funniest thing ever. Could there be a better reference?
No.
Like say like you're riffing in your mind what celebrity to use. I mean, Who's Fred Travalena? You know, yeah. What did he say? He goes, I went to the Bernard McGirt fight, and he got hit once. De La Hoya hit him once in the face, and the ref said to McGirt, "Who's Fred Travalena?" I don't know. And Lewis is like this. He's going like this. He was the best guest in the history of David Letterman at 12:30. Like people, like he was the best.
Yeah.
And I've now met him. And he tweets me sometimes, and I tweet him a joke, and he goes, "Close with that. Good night." Like Henny Youngman, I think he's given up and just does one joke. I saw Henny Youngman in the Carnegie Deli. 44 people walked by him and said, "Hi, Henny, or Benny, Henny," and he said the same thing to every one of them. He had his head at a right angle like this, and he said, "How you doing? How you doing, Henny?" He goes, "Pretty bad, pretty bad, pretty bad." Yeah, who's Fred Travalena? That's perfect. He would say shit like, Letterman would just goof on him because he's like, "What are you doing? There's ink all over your hands. Were you fingerprinting?" He goes, "No, I'm writing." He goes, the guy played colleges now, but if you don't make the right reference, they don't move, or they don't even move their mouth. I was playing at NYU. I said, "So anyway, Eisenhower." I mean Madonna. Eisenhower, I mean Madonna.
There was a whole bunch of comics back then that were on Letterman that was so good, like Leno.
Leno was amazing,
right?
Leno was amazing.
What's my beef, Dave? I'll tell you.
Yeah,
he was so funny.
It's the first place I heard him do this bit. Yeah, David, Carol O'Connor, I just got $203,000 a week. $203,000 a week for all in the family. No, look, I don't begrudge the guy the money, but how do you negotiate a contract with $203,000 a week? Like they tell your agent, "Listen, we're prepared to pay your client $200,000 a week for his services." The man's got to eat. Throw me a bone. The man's got to eat.
But he had all those good generation of comics. Was it George
Jay
Miller?
Leno.
George Miller, right? Wasn't that a guy too?
Oh, George Miller. But George Miller was a guy whose his signature thing was bombing.
Oh.
Like, I think he was just a guy, who owed Letterman owed him money or something.
I just remember he had all those guys on, and they were
really funny.
Most
Drake
of them were pretty
Sather.
good.
Drake Sather, famous for writing the funniest suicide note ever.
Is that true?
You know who Drake Sather was?
No.
That's a shame. That you know who Jen Dollar is, but not Drake Sather.
I know Fred Travalena.
Drake Sather, I know. It's over. Who's Drake Sather? Who's Dave Juskow? It's over.
Wait
who's Don Lemon? So no. I knew him because I watched those old Lettermans for the first one when Bill Murray was on. Everyone for the first 7 years I watched it.
One.
In lieu of getting laid, that's what I did. And they were so good. It was before Arsenio Hall decided to have a fucking dog pound, and instead of laughs, I went, "Ugh." And Leno falls for that shit. And like he just looks so goofy with that big Leno ass. Trying to be Arsenio Hall. He's in the front row. Fucking that'll work. Just tell some jokes. And if a joke didn't get an applause break, it wasn't considered bombed. Letterman used to have this witty conversations with Albert Brooks. Him and John Candy would talk and they have a cigarette and just talk like the Algonquin Round Table. And you didn't need a big laugh. Right. And now there's no pressure to kill.
And the fact that it was on late, too, I think helped. It was the first one of its kind to be on that late. So
right. And he was doing
it was made for us.
He was right. He was literally doing stuff that was never done before, written by Merrill Markoe. He gave her. In the divorce, I guarantee, when they broke up, Merrill Markoe got bits.
You think so?
Like he said, "I'll say you wrote this. I'll say you came up with fun with Velcro." She claims she refined, she improved the top 10 list. What was it, 8? And you went in on what does that even fucking mean? Once again, we're saying a woman was as funny as David Letterman. Like, that's fucking possible. Like the
I used to go to that show all the time. It was so easy to get tickets. I used to go in the audience all the time. I was there.
Really? I was always on the show. I bet I was on the show more than you were in the audience.
In the 80s?
Was that of a... No, not the 80s.
That's all I was
Was that out of line?
No,
the one at NBC.
Cool,
NBC. NBC used to go.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I went to one. My wonderful mother. My father we're like on welfare. My father's a quadriplegic in our living room, sitting there like a lasagna. We didn't know what to do, and she gets me for my 19th birthday. She gets me tickets to Letterman, and she goes, "I'm gonna go with you. I gotta get out of the house." And I said, "Fine." but we're going to leave him with this Nigerian woman. I don't know her motives. Ask her, put her on speakerphone and tell her to clap the entire time. This was before cell phones. So me and my mom, my cousin Frankie and his mom, we went to go see a Letterman taping. And I happened to catch, we happened to catch a special taping where it was Dave's Film Festival and celebrities made 6-minute films, and I caught Michael J. Fox.
Oh, wow. I remember that. Was that the hockey one?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, great call. Yeah. Pre-Parkinson's.
Right.
By the way, he'd be a great goalie with the Parkinson's. He really would. DePaulo has a joke where he says something like, yeah. It looks like you took some Ritalin. You gave Ritalin to Katharine Hepburn and she signed the... Gave Ritalin to... Looks like Michael J. Fox smoked crystal meth and wrote the fucking... it was Jonathan Winters, though, was one of the guys who made the film. And my God, I remember laughing so fucking hard. Jonathan Winters was so fucking funny. And I wanted to do a bit where he married Suzanne Summers. What? Jonathan Winters and Suzanne Summers. Dude, it writes itself.
I guess it does. I'm sorry.
Try to work in Rick Springfield. And the Fall Guy. How many times did I jerk off that chick on the Fall Guy? What was her
Heather
name?
Thomas.
Yes. Oh, yes. The hottest Heather.
Yeah.
Heather Locklear, go fuck yourself. By the way, did anybody see what Heather Locklear took about Tommy Lee? I'm sure he wasn't having a hard time getting over that one. Heather Locklear looks like a blonde shrub.
Oh no, really?
She's heavy set.
No.
Yeah, well, she put on the old. She put on the old 8 is enough 80. 8 was enough, Heather.
Oh.
Yeah, she's fat. And she plays a white trash like bitch with a leather skirt. And she went crazy. Her and Demi Moore went crazy when they lost their hotness. Think about that. Right. It's like Superman when he turns 42. They say you can't fly. There's nothing wonder about you anymore. You don't look like Heather Locklear. You look like someone's fucking grandmother. And guess what? Her stories all of a sudden weren't interesting anymore. She's going, my God, this guy walked away when I was telling my story about the time I went to Burger King.
They used to kill.
Yeah, about the time I ate an M&M. My guys loved it. They would laugh really hard. One guy told me I was like a really good-looking Don Rickles. They used to call me Donna Rickles. I was so fucking funny. And now they fall asleep. Or they just walk around me. As if I'm a plant. They walk around me as if I'm a throw rug. Fucking Heather. And Demi Moore started smoking that synthetic weed. Married Ashton Kutcher. Yeah. How happy was Bruce Willis when he got that phone call? You mean I don't have to fucking pay $8 million a day? Because the guy who created that 70s show is The Difference. I like to call myself The Difference. Bruce Willis calls you The Difference. Between a house and fucking the Palisades or Malibu. The Difference. Did you guys ever hear Ashton Kutcher say I call myself The Difference?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Jessica?
No.
One of the most depressing things ever. I'm watching the 30 for 30 on one of my favorites, Walter Payton. There's one celebrity fan gives a testimonial, and it's Ashton Kutcher. And it ruins the special for me.
Yeah, what the hell?
And you know how Walter Payton had a headband that said Sweetness?
Yeah, of course.
Here's why Ashton Kutcher related to him as a kid. He goes, well, you see, he's the Sweetness. And you ask anybody who works for me, I like to call myself The Difference. But not being ironic. Like
what?
He's the difference. He makes the difference in the project.
What was he from Chicago or something? Why would they even interview him?
Iowa. He was
fuck?
Walter Payton was the closest black guy geographically. And he was dark skinned enough to where you could see his Jerry curl from him. He was Iowa, close enough. So Sweetness and the Difference. But what he leaves out is other people gave Walter Payton that nickname. He was so good.
Right.
Ashton Kutcher called himself The Difference. Oh. If somebody calls himself The Difference in a positive way and he gives himself that nickname, his real nickname is The Asshole. Oh wait, here it is. Is that it? Who's the difference?
I
Could
like
you
to call
imagine?
myself the difference.
So obnoxious.
Okay, can we? Do you have the tape of the first day we did? Okay, so what I started doing, Dave, was John Facenda doing Ashton Kutcher's career, like he did Walter Payton's, but as the difference. And the show, that 70s show, was stalling. They needed something else. That's when they called the difference. That 70s show went from an average sitcom to a TV Hall of Fame classic. When Mila Kunis started doing scenes with the difference. The movie Dude, Where's My Car was nothing. It had Stifler and nothing else. That's when the director said this should be a buddy comedy. But who should the buddy be? The difference.
I like to call myself the difference.
When the difference got on the set of Dude, Where's My Car, it became Caddyshack. The movie Just Married was stalling. That's what Demi Moore's career was nothing. She had done all she could do. Her children were being in trouble by the pool with their friends. People were drowning from Beverly Hills left and right. That's when she married the difference. Bruce Willis introduced her to the difference. And Bruce Willis's bank account saw the difference.
If you had played that clip first and asked me where it was from, my last guess would be a Walter Payton documentary.
Right, exactly. Well, that's what I mean.
It's so messed up.
I'd
if you
guess
do it backwards, it's like weird too. Like,
I'd guess Earl Campbell first.
We had Jared Payton on, and we know he wanted to break
did?
bad, but then he didn't.
Jared Payton was a guy who molests sandwich eaters. Was that kid's name Payton? Was that kid's name Payton? The Jared guy from
Jared Payton.
I know who Jared Payton is. Right. He's his kid. But wasn't that guy's last name Payton too?
No, Jared.
Oh, Jared
Fogle.
Jared Filato.
Whatever.
One of the Filato boys. We're to Cack Rabbit. What's other shit movies he did? Cameron Diaz needed a partner who could do comedic.
Oh yeah, the Vegas movie, right?
Yeah, stays in Vegas or something.
The movie What Happens in Vegas was terrible. None of the jokes were working. That's because they weren't being delivered by the difference.
Didn't he do a movie with Bruce Willis? Was it like an action?
The movie with Bruce Willis
Strike
called
I think so. I don't know.
Unbreakable was breaking. That's when the difference said, I have another movie commitment. The guy who plays the guy in the Unbreakable who plays the guy he kills in the pool, I did a movie with. We played Russian hitmen. And it was such a low-budget film that we both started doing terrible Russian accents. And the director did not correct us when we just talk like ourselves. So if you watch the movie, literally, it's called Puppet. It's my first movie I ever did. And after the first season of Mad TV, I came home and I booked a movie through the Liz Lewis casting agency. And I did I could do a Russian accent in a sketch, but the whole movie, you need a director reminding me. And so literally, within seconds on screen, you would see me go, "Get in there, babushka." And then I go, "Hey, we got to get a fucking pizza." And then the guy spending all the money, who was really shady, he would walk in and I go, "Guess who's back?" Mm-hmm. Back again. After he gets that one.
Yeah.
And I said, sir, there's a problem with the continuity. Why? If 3 seconds after I'm talking like a terrible guy in like a Love American style episode who plays a Russian astronaut in Gilligan's Island. After that, I'm talking like the professor. I'm talking like Jim Backus. Oh, heavens and angels. Listen, babushka, I can't see. You can't see, he can't see. It's a Madman World with Buddy Hackett and Mickey Rooney saying. I can't see. I can't see.
Oh, you.
The
Oh,
alcohol.
you.
And Mr. Magoo.
Trying to do my Phil Silver.
Was that Phil Silver?
I was doing the best.
How funny was
Oh, boy.
Okay, Steve Martin. How much comedy has Steve Martin destroyed? Let's talk about that. Way more than he's created. Sergeant fucking Bilko.
Oh, that was not cool.
The worst. And then 2 Pink Panther movies.
Yeah.
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 Two.
Oh,
yeah.
God, the Black Honeymooners is more disgraceful. Cedric the Entertainer, you could literally see him mailing his performance in. He stops by a post office, and he has a big manila envelope that says, "My performance." I'll tell you what, though, that Kings of Comedy, that is some of the best black stand-up ever. Did you ever see the full? Oh, Cedric the Entertainer does a bit about how, like, you know, white people keep moving away from black people, and pretty soon they're going to go to the moon, and we're going to be following you. And he starts playing a Delphonic song. Where you going, motherfucker? Following white people in a rocket. Like, I got the top there.
Who else was in that? Was it
Bernie Mac.
Earthquake?
No, not Earthquake, who's one of the best guys ever. Earthquake, what starts off is, okay, Earthquake's 2004 half hour on HBO. It could be the funniest set of stand-up ever.
Really?
Funniest half hour ever. Well, that's when he does my favorite punchline of all time. He talks about John Kerry is married to Teresa Hines.
Right.
You know, with the condiments. And still wants to work, still wants to run for president. And he's like, motherfucker, what are you working for? You're married to Teresa Hines. And people say, hey, Earthquake, you want to be president? I'm be like, shit, my bitch own ketchup. Every time a nigga order french fries, ka-ching. The punchline, my bitch own ketchup, is so amazing because it's fucking true. His bitch owned ketchup. Hunt's, well, how much of the market did Hunt's have? And fucking mustard.
Yeah.
And there's not an ounce of fat on that grammatically incorrect line. My bitch owned ketchup.
Yeah. Are there even any competitors with ketchup?
No, his bitch owned ketchup.
Damn.
And then why would you want to be president? So true. But he also does a thing now. He goes, I'm so fucking poor. I marry bitches based on the fact they got a 12-year-old son who looks like it could be a LeBron or something. He goes, I see a bitch out. I guess she got a fat ass, fat nut. And I was like, he got a son? Well, I fucking just to wake up in the morning and say, hey, kid, come outside. I get a stopwatch. I'm like, go. I say to the bitch, wait over there. Here's a stopwatch. If the watch say 40 seconds or under, call me. That's all right. Talks about trying to get a lawsuit from Michael Jackson. I said to my kid, I said, you're a 10-year-old kid. You got to go up and let that crazy man take your shirt off. Don't worry, I'll get you counseling. He goes, listen, somebody's got to break this chain of poverty. You've been chosen. Somebody's got to break this chain of poverty. You've been chosen. Holy shit, I couldn't stop fucking laughing. Then, of course, I recommend him to Howard for a roast, and we roasted Howard's touched by the radio gods. We roast an actual Klan member in his Klan outfit.
Oh, I remember that.
And Bob Levy purposely gets gay and black comedians. Okay? Okay. 2 of the black comics are late. Why are they late? They get pulled over and they have warrants. That's what they said when they got there. They didn't even make up an excuse. That's what they actually said in front of the Klan guy. The Klan guy leaned into the mic, biggest laugh of the day, and went, told you. I said, Howard, he wins.
Daniel Carver, right?
Daniel Carver. Someday the Mexicans are going to outnumber the humans.
Remember when
He's a Trump speechwriter now.
Remember when his wife came by and she was like worse?
His wife,
was, like,
okay,
more
I'll tell you why she
racist.
was worse. You're right, she was more. She had none of Daniel's charisma. Now listen, Daniel's a terrible man with a lot of bad ideas. The only thing I agree with is some of his economic plans. His tax structure for Atlanta could work. But he had a wife but he did have, like, on air, there was something about Daniel. He's like, if you're going to say the N-word, you need some charisma. Like Huey Newton. And he was kind of a likable guy, but his wife, you're so right, Dave. His wife was as racist or more, but was creepy. Like what most of those people probably are. No teeth. No, apparently she couldn't find a Gentile dentist. I go to you, Dr. Feinstein. Her teeth, so her face was like pushed in, like that witch in Bugs Bunny with no teeth. A cup of tea, a cookie, and you. Okay.
With the bobby pins.
Yeah, with the bobby pin.
Yeah.
She would run real fast in the bobby pin.
Broomhilda.
That's right. She would start to run, and she'd be running so fast that she would lift off the ground.
Yeah.
Not plausible. So okay. So that's what she looked like, and this is how she spoke. She would you wouldn't even understand it. All you understand was the racial slur. The only word you understood was nigger. Howard would go, to Mrs. Carver, what do you think about blacks, maybe owning a business in your hometown? Niggers. And her mouth would go in. Niggers. Bobby Jews.
Oh, man.
Package. I'm hungry. We gotta feed her. We gotta feed Mrs. Carver.
Was she large?
Yeah, she had a gut.
Oh, my 600-pound racist.
That'd be the best thing ever. Bring me some nigger feet.
Oh my God.
What is that? Bring me some wop gravy. Yo, you talking about papers? Bring me some Jew food. My racist 600-pound. Yo, I ate my sheep. You can't eat your sheep. I'm wiping your ass. What color shit and what colors cum, Howard? Case closed. Well, yeah, God likes white better than black because he made shit black and cum white.
Oh my God.
One white means life, the beginning of life. You're so happy to see it. It creates stuff. It's the beginning. The other thing that's black, you hate so much you want to get it out of your house immediately. When you see it, it stinks. It stinks like niggers. I remember the good old days when you could do that on the radio. We were laughing so hard. And, only people with an IQ under 70 didn't understand we were laughing at them. The other creepy thing was this woman collected dolls.
Oh, no.
Porcelain dolls. That looked like something out of Poltergeist. And it was up in the house in rural Georgia. All repairmen were minorities, and none of them would go there. So he had to do everything himself. Yeah, even the roofer's colored. I got to get up there myself. Fuck the nigga roofer. And sweet irony, they had a son. Okay, Howard's an enormous Jew. This is the hypocrisy. They were in love with fame. At the commercial, the son and Daniel Carver go, "Hey, Howard, you going to come down and visit us? We got a big pool." The son was the most racist, calling them drug dealers, goes to county jail for meth.
Oh, wow.
Selling meth. The white Daniel Carver son, who's famous for the Stern Show. I don't know how he came out of there. You got raped by a nigger.
Oh, God, right.
Yeah. You watch for premises. And but can you imagine they were still in 2007 in that sheet. I didn't even have a joke. We roasted him, and I said, look, Daniel, look at you. You look ridiculous.
And he had the Grand Poobah sheet, right?
Well, he was the Grand Klugel. And we congratulated him. It was almost like a friend. He called us to tell us Howard, the vote came in, and I'm not the Grand Klugel of Atlantic County, Artie. No, you're making a mistake. All of Georgia. Who are you running against? No one. It was me against the missus.
But I won.
I'd have voted for her. Fuck the colors. That was her slogan. So anyway, I told Daniel Carver if that Mexican joke, drop the mic. The fact that, and Levy, of course, got the comedians. The fact that the first black kid was late because he had a warrant. He had a warrant out. I said, is there a script? Then Modi, the Jewish gay comic, went up and bombed.
Oh, right.
and he was Jewish and gay. And Carver like, I was trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I bet I could kill him with 1 stone. Lovable jokes like that. But yeah, that's being touched by the gods of radio, if that happens. But anyway, Dave, by the way, I saw a promo. Let's say, we have to say this. Dave is going to be in Crashing.
Yeah.
There's upcoming. Well, don't seem too excited.
I'm very excited.
Actually, no, we know this. Well, first of all, of course, anybody, if you follow the Artie Lang Twitter feed, you know that I have some issues that are being worked out. Nothing new. And Mrs. Carver is my lawyer. Fact Diddy fucked up again. He's a fact Diddy.
Worry not. You're in good hands.
He's a fact joke Diddy. You can't find a blame for him. He's not good like my son. Yeah, so, and I was talking to Judd Apatow, who's the best guy in the world, and unfortunately he's saying, I don't know, it's just not going to work. We can't make it work. We just can't use Just Go.
Oh. Oh my God.
Do you buy him as friends with Sarah?
At least he knows my name.
No. The whole thing was a joke. I didn't talk to him. I haven't talked to Just Go since the arrest. I can't get his assistant on the phone. What's his name? Apatow. Because, my Twitter fans don't fucking help when they think I want them to make fun of Judd. And they have jokes like Artie's bloated liver in fucking Missouri makes up jokes like Judd Crapatow. Like, what the fuck is your problem? Ashley Judd Apatow is the bit. That's me. Ashley Judd Apatow. And again, Dave, you were so right. If you remember the first week of the show, we were watching it with the mute on, and Dave had problems with it. Right? You said that as soon as you said, we were trying to figure out the problem, and you were the first one to have the balls to go, paging Dr. New Executive Producer. Paging Dr. Shit Script.
No, I believe I was talking about the pacing.
You said, if someone else would play Pete. Your day on the set, there was rumors that your day on the set, you went up to, where my wardrobe was. It said Artie's, Tuesday clothes and everything. And you walked up. We found out who this was because there was a camera. You didn't know it. You walked up to Pete's locker and put Emperor new clothes. But we got picked up for a second season. That statement, I used to say we. Now I'm like the show Crashing. But I think me and you were both on. I was supposed to be on just 7 and 8. I think I'm on 6, 7, and 8. It means I'm in your episode.
Yeah, we're both in together.
We are, right?
Yep.
Well, so I'm in 6, 7, and 8, which means somebody owes me $15,000.
Yeah, they show your podcast this episode.
Exactly.
It's pretty cool.
Well, I got fucking Filato benefits. Are you in the show?
Nice.
Yeah, Dan, are you in it?
I think so. Yes.
This is so great. When they tell Dan, you can come, and I said, Dan, you might get lines and stuff, but I think somebody had the instinct to know Dan is terrible at acting. And actually, I never saw this before. Dan was a principal in the scene. 3 separate people at different levels of power, from assistant director to Judd to maybe the head of HBO, went up to Dan and said, do not speak.
Oh.
Do not ever talk.
The head of HBO.
If the pet dog who plays the pet dog in the show is barking, I don't want you talking over it. But he knew that, of course, Dan and I make magic daily. And so you were. Did you get a close up?
I think they got the side of my face, but they did. He's true. They told me not to speak.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's true story.
Right. Well, no one thought I was lying. That's a true story. Listen, I'll verify that. I know that sounds far-fetched. They told me not to speak. Did you prepare a monologue?
No, they didn't want to pay me.
Oh, is that true?
Yes, that's what it was.
Oh, really?
Why were
Yeah.
you there then? They could have got a piece of plywood to do that.
Cut out.
They wanted to make it exactly a cut.
Cut out of Dan.
Get a picture with Dan. You know how cheap the production is if it's not the real Dan Filato. How much more is Dan than the cutout? fuck the good.
And there wasn't even like a moment where they said we could bring in Tan Filato. None of that happened.
If Tan Filato was there, he would be allowed. He would be allowed to speak.
It'll be on season 2.
Yeah. Wow, I remember when I was shooting the Queer of the Dragon. Oh, that was so good. I'm doing some characters. Barney Frank Sinatra. The summer wind. Fuck me in the ass.
That's funny.
I did it Liberace's way. Oh, that's so fucking great. Yeah. New York, New York. He blew me. Hell of a town. Who can make that rubber in my ass? That's Barney Frank Sinatra. Barney Rubble Frank, I'm working on. How you, Fred? Fuck me in my ass. Hey, Fred. I don't like Betty. Hey, mate, did you meet my beard, Betty? I don't think Bam Bam is mine. First of all, the Bam Bam character, who in the writer's room said, let's make him really strong? And then, is Harvey Korman available? We have a character, the Martian. Harvey Korman's so fucking funny.
He's amazing.
Hello, Dum Dum. I pitched a sketch at Man TV where the Rolling Stones, instead of the Flintstones, get visited by Gazoo. And it's Keith Richards and Mick Jagger drunk backstage. And just, hello, Dum Dum. Who the fuck who's that, Mick? That's the guy from Cabinet. Harvey Korman. I saw, this is a fucking young agent you want to strangle. 1999-ish, when I was getting movie work, my William Morris agent, Rachel Klein. Yeah. Guess where she was, Rosh Hashanah. Very good at her job, though, and very attracted to me. I'm kidding. I see Harvey. We're at the Palm Steakhouse on Santa Monica Boulevard, and Harvey Korman and fucking Tim Conway and their wives are having a steak. Wow. And I go, oh my God, look at that. And she goes, who cares? They're old.
Oh my God.
I said, excuse me?
You're fired.
Yeah. I go outside, I get up the fucking, I get up the courage to say hi to Harvey Korman. He's waiting for his car at the valet. I go, Mr. Korman, listen, I'm a big fan. I just wanted to say that. He goes, no shit. And I said, I'm breaking character. I'm laughing. No shit. But oh yeah, Judge Gal, about the James Caan thing. James Caan calls me over, okay, and again he comes to my chin, and I said, look, Popeye Jenko, look what I got. And okay, the greatest thing happens. We're reminiscing about Elf, and I'm talking to him about the Killer Elite, and he says, I got a joke for you. Just as that's happening, a 20-year-old kid, a 20-year-old kid recognizes me and not him, which is very awkward, but I thought was hilarious. The kid wanted a picture with me, and he took a selfie. And I said to myself, how great if he gave James Caan the fucking phone and said, could you take a picture? I go, he goes, is this your dad or something? And then how great would it be if James Caan threw down the phone and said, fucking FBI, I don't respect that. And then spit on the kid and threw down $200. If he did that, that would have been the greatest moment of my life.
Would have been.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. And the joke he told me coming up to my chin, and people heard this obviously, but I can tell this all night. James Caan told the joke, so if you heard it before, just bear with me. Imagine James Caan's Sonny telling me this on 7th Avenue at 4:30 in the afternoon. He goes, oh, you're a comedian, you like this. What's the worst thing a broad could hear after she blows Willie Nelson? I'm not Willie Nelson. I'll see you later. Fucking funniest thing I ever heard about. At the premiere, I was introduced to a guy that was James Caan's cousin. Okay. Now, he could have been. He was from Queens. This is the funniest moment in the history of joke telling. He was ossified drunk on like sherry. and he's trying to tell a joke that, again, he projects on me. It's a racist joke, but he goes, "Artie, you love this." Okay, one of those things. "Artie, you love this. 2 fags are fucking a monkey," like stuff like that. He goes, he's trying. Okay, the joke starts out. How many niggers does it take to roof a house? Okay, that's the.
Oh,
He goes like this. He's fixated on he keeps making a mistake, but after he says the word, so he keeps saying the word that's offensive over and over. He goes, "Okay, 3 niggers. Wait a minute. Is it 2 fags? No, it's 4 niggas. 4 niggas. No, wait a minute. How many niggas? Is that?" And he goes, "Honey," he says to his wife, "How many?" That joke. That joke the dentist told us. Is it 3 niggas walk into a fag bar? No. There's no fag bar. That's the other joke. No, that's just how many niggas. Oh, how many niggas? Okay, I'm sorry. A whole table of show business people listening to this. Publicists. How many niggas that take the roof out? And the punchline is 7 or 8 if you slice them thin.
Oh my God.
And I said, listen, that's a terrible punchline. It should be like at least 9. I said, "Are you using Fat Albert?" And then I told my Bill Cosby lazy eye thing. Why he has a lazy eye, and of course, when you're raping a girl, you have to keep one eye on the door. In case Tempest Blenzo wants a script copy. Remember those girls, those kids had to call him Mr. Cosby? Could you imagine? While did Tempest have to call him Mr. Cosby? "Why are you raping me, Mr. Cosby?"
Yeah.
He's raping chicks and calling Richard Pryor and saying you curse too much. Poor Richard Pryor. You imagine on the set of California Suite. All right, Bill, you done reaming me out? Can I make a few suggestions for your backstage? There are fucking black comics, and I love them all. I love Keith Robinson to death, but he's one of the, he does not. He goes, it's really about 7 or 8 chicks. It's not 40, and he's fine with it. Like Mel Gibson with the Holocaust. Mel Gibson's father. Right. This is what he said on television. He said it wasn't 6 million; it was 4 million. And what are we supposed to do? Go, "Oh God, how uptight are we?"
We've been overreacting all these years.
Yeah, what assholes? That's a whole camp. That's made up. There was no Treblinka. I mean, could you imagine? And then he goes, 2 million of them just moved to the Bronx.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. It's on tape.
Oh, my.
Yeah, right before Mel Gibson had a game show, Guess the Jew.
That's the almost thing. You can almost, it's like Lindsay Lohan's parents. You can almost forgive him if that's what he came up with.
Well, yeah, Lindsay Lohan's parents. We had Michael Lohan in on Stern once, and I said to Howard, I said, keep the cameras going after the commercial because somebody tried to bait Michael Lohan. And he's telling about how he loves his daughter, he loves his wife, his mother. And during the commercial, I go, "Hey, Mike, man, I have the same problem. Fucking broads are ridiculous." He goes, "They're all fucking stupid." I said, "Jackpot."
Yeah.
And,
Both parents.
Well, Dina, the fucking mother, the last few times, she's on Dr. Phil, insanely drunk.
Yeah.
Like he's not going to pick up on that with that enormous head. Yeah. "What are you doing? You're drunk on vermouth." Dr. Phil knows how to do it. Did you see him interview John Benet Ramsey's brother?
No.
What a creepy kid. He clearly did it. Without question, there's evidence.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He killed her. And the evidence is, you know what? And it's obvious. It's like every other murder. It's fucking obvious.
Well, how old was he then?
He was 9.
Oh,
and he was so jealous of her. Like, and there's like the kid psychiatrist came out and said like he would pull shit out of his ass and rub it all over her at night.
Whoa.
And yeah, and Howard called her Malcolm excrement. Or more of my nips, mapes, me or my family. And they found peaches in her stomach, and she went downstairs. And she was sitting at the table, and he didn't want her to leave because he had something planned for her downstairs. And he clearly got her peaches, which she loved. It's like everything else. It's simple. It's like Kaiser Soze says, The Usual Suspect. To a cop, everything's a simple thing. If you know his brother, if you think his brother did it, he probably did it. And that's so true.
I never heard that before. Didn't. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, I was obsessed with that for a while, that whole thing, because I couldn't stop. Couldn't stop jerking off. The mother. No, get your mind out of the gutter, Jessica. The mother was adorable. The father's still there, and the kid is so creepy. And Dr. Phil is just saying, "Do you want to admit you killed your sister?" No.
How old is he now?
Well, he was 9 in 1996. He's about 30, 29.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Creepy as hell. He works from home. He does something with computers. Which usually those two things equal killed your sister.
Right.
Is he married or anything like that?
No. He's a loner.
Oh man.
And again, Geraldo Rivera interviewed Charles Manson in the late 80s. And Charles Manson had a big fat black guy who really didn't know who he was as a cellmate. And Geraldo said to him, "Aren't you afraid of him?" And the black guy goes, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Well, he's crazy. He's a loner." And he goes, "Well, I'm afraid of loners because they're alone." He goes, "Doesn't he ever do that Nazi stuff?" He goes, "He starts yelling at night. I just punch him in the face." He keeps telling me to kill Miss LaBianco. I mean, like, again, so literal. A big black guy goes, "I just punch him in the face." Yeah, you know when he doesn't yell out Nazi shit? With my cock's in his mouth.
That's an easy workaround.
Exactly. I'm going to put my dick in your mouth. Now say Patricia Krenwinkel. Can you make the noise that Squeaky Fromm makes when she says her name? He might be the best white guy with women ever. Charles Manson.
Oh, yeah.
I can't get a chick to make me a sandwich. 8 years after the murders, you get Squeaky Fromm to shoot Ford.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, he's got a.
He did that too?
Yeah, that was she planted in Squeaky's head.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, but she got off drugs. She was squeaky clean. That's what we called her in rehab. Hey, you're squeaky clean. Who's calling her squeaky clean? I'm the devil. What dumb whores. Can you imagine that's the guy that's so charismatic?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck you.
Well, I don't know whether I told you, but I mean, I don't.
He's like a funny Pauly Shore.
My friend, that night that
The
we
night of
did
the
the
murders?
driving.
Oh, that night of what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we went down.
Was
to
that the night of the Tate LaBianca murder?
We went down to the bar, the
Right.
Caliban, that my friend Vincent owns, who had met Charlie Manson.
Vincent who?
Manson,
Right.
Masso.
Oh.
He met Charlie Manson in the 60s.
Right.
He was at Berkeley, and he goes, "Yeah."
Well, it had to be, unless he was
I-
at San Quentin.
Right, I met him, and he go, and we thought he was weird then, and he wanted to, he was a little off, and he asked me if I wanted to ride, whatever, something, and then he saw him later in L.A. playing volleyball, and Charles Manson remembered him. He's
Really?
one of those guys that was actually charismatic. He's like, "Vinny,
More charismatic than
Vinny."
Charles Manson.
No, Charles Manson was charismatic.
Oh,
he was going to my friend. He's like, "Vinny, you remember me? It's,
Right.
it's me, Charlie Manson. Come back to the home." He was inviting
Come
him
back
back
to the home.
wherever they were hanging
Could
out.
you imagine the sentence, "It's me, Charlie Manson, come back to the home"?
Yeah.
And so what? Did he get him laid or something?
No, he knew something was off about the guy, but he was charming. You know?
Right. Well, first of all, he charmed fucking
Yeah.
Dennis, what's his face?
From the Beach Boys, right.
Yeah.
Living with him for a while. And the greatest fucking Dennis Hopper story, he's living with Dennis Johnson at the same time Manson is. And, he loved his music. They go out for a beer run and to buy weed. It's Dennis Hopper and Charles Manson in a car.
Amazing.
At a light in the desert. He sees a black guy in the corner of this small little town and goes, "That motherfucking nigger owes me money." And he walks up to him and starts fighting with the black guy and stabs him.
Oh my God!
Drags him down the hill and throws dirt over him. Says, goes to Hopper, drive. And they get back without the beer. And Dennis Wilson says, "What's the matter?" Because Hopper looks scared to death. He goes, "Your roommate just killed a guy." and they were so scared of him, including Dennis Wilson, who was a major star. That was so scared of how crazy he was, and like the crazy racism too. Like it was all like the Flower Children. They didn't say anything.
Smart move.
Well, yeah, and they're technically the reason 4 people were murdered.
Well, that's true. Well, I'm
Including a
saying
baby.
I could see not saying anything that night, but then in the morning
Yeah, you should
leave
call the
and-
cops.
Yeah.
Yeah, slowly back away.
Yeah, you'll call the cops and go, listen, it's an anonymous call. You'll know the guy. Go to where Dennis Wilson lives. Just look around. Just say, anybody got a guitar? And a guy, I guarantee you, will start singing. Just arrest him. If you like Shannon Tate and Roman Polanski. The book, Rick James wrote a book about his life. It came out about 2 years ago, and I picked it up. I read it on a plane in 40 seconds. The stories are so fucking amazing. One of the stories is he was supposed to go to that party where Shannon Tate was killed.
Oh wow.
And his girlfriend knew Jay Sebring, the hairdresser, who was at the party. And I guess he gave Rick James that hairdo. Which is, he's probably happy he died. But he was good friends with him. And the story was in the book that Rick James and his girlfriend went out the night before, were too hungover to go. How hungover is a 19-year-old Rick James? He can't make it. Wow. He can't rally. He doesn't go. Now listen, think about it. And I'll go around the room here. How different is that story if Rick James, an ample black man
Oh man.
with an extra bone in his ankle, is there to fight off Patricia Krenwinkel?
Wow.
But Tex Watson, big guy. Okay, do you think? Now here's the thing: does okay? Let's go around the room. Does Rick James just run out the back door and leave his girlfriend there to die, and then go on to write Super Freak even earlier? Does he stay and watch from a closet and write a great album about that night? Or does he fight off the guys and maybe save one of them? Dave, your thoughts?
I think he runs out the back door.
Well, that's insane. That's, by the way, my choice. Anthony, what do you think?
It's at this stage he's probably not smoking crack, right? So he doesn't have doesn't have them.
Crack not invented yet.
Okay, so,
Right.
So no crack muscles.
No
I'm gonna
crack
go
muscles. Those are big.
Yeah, running out the back door.
Dan, what do you think?
I say running out the back door.
It's too shocking.
This
when
is
in the
almost like a
moment.
Knights of Columbus meeting. As the fucking black comic who was a crackhead in the park, Charlie Barnett, brilliant guy, had a couple of the best jokes. One of them was, one good thing about crack, brought the price of pussy down to $5. He goes, his other great joke was, man, I watched that fucking movie Roots. That fucking Kunta Kinte was a tough motherfucker. Man, if you're going and getting whipped, change your name to Toby. He's like, what's your name? Kunta Kinte. No, it ain't Toby. Whap. What's your name? Kunta Kinte. No, it ain't Toby. Whap. That motherfucker would hit me one time. What's your name? Toby, Bobobi. But that's Toby, Bobobi. You see, even a black guy couldn't do that bit nowadays because Hannibal Buress would pick it. You're bringing us. You know what? You're setting the race back. Yeah, to when you were funny. Again, Joe Pesci doesn't talk like Mario Cuomo in Goodfellas. You know why? I'm Italian. It's fine. What's more entertaining?
You're right.
The stereotypical fucking Dago. Let go my Dago. You think my mother was proud that our cousin played the guy who said, I'm going to get the papers, get the papers?
Is that true?
No. I'm funny, but Scorsese hitting on all cylinders with that movie. Nicky 2 times, I'm going to get the papers, get the papers. That's amazing. But so Rick James, was supposed to be at that party.
Wow.
He's a jazz drummer in Buffalo. His mother was, they indicate she could have been a whore in Buffalo. He's 14 years old, learns how to play the drums. He's a prodigy. And Crosby, Stills, and Nash comes through Buffalo in '69 touring, and they need a drummer. Their drummer is like strung out. And someone, a local roadie from Buffalo, says, go to this club. There's an amazing drummer, a black kid named Rick James. And they go, okay. And they have him drum for the concert. Amazing.
Wow.
Wow.
And fucking Steven Stills says, why don't you come to L.A., man? He goes, I got nothing going on. He goes, we could get you in recording sessions. He lives with Steven Stills for a while. Second night he's at Steven Stills' house. He wakes up 4 a.m. He's on the couch. Someone wakes him up. In front of him is a young guy cutting his hand, and the blood is dripping down the Bible, and telling Rick James he's Jesus. Rick James runs and wakes up Steven Stills and says, there's a guy cutting his hand, and Steven says, he's fucking doing it again. It's Jim Morrison.
Wow.
Wow.
And who was actually, at that time, technically Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, so stories like that are in that book, and they're all like it's no too fat to fish, believe me. And I actually said to myself, man, I said, with Anthony Bozza, this is a classic. It really is. This is a classic. You could have, I mean, look.
Thanks, man. I would have loved to. I love Rick James.
Could you imagine?
Oh, he's so
But
funny.
I think you could have had some Tracy Morgan problems.
Yep.
I would have made up that he was one of the movie I want to pitch Tracy is he does Tracy Morgan Spurlock, and Tracy Morgan he thinks it's no big deal because he's eating at McDonald's every day for 48 years. My liver testified.
He's got the bad sugar.
Right. I got the bad sugar.
That's what he calls it.
My head looks like B.B. King's foot. It's a Nick DiPaolo punchline. But Tracy Morgan had a Lamborghini playing bocce ball and a pogo stick the day after he got the check. And what happened with that, by the way? The insurance company wanted the money back. It's the greatest story ever because they said, hey, listen, guys.
Yeah.
They said to Walmart, hey, listen, we don't give a fuck if he's a black comic from the Bronx. We're racist Southern insurance company.
Is this true?
Yeah, they wanted. We said, "What?" They go, "What are you doing? Just write a check for $100 million, you moron!" And they overpaid him.
Wow.
I mean, come on.
Did they take it back, or did they
No,
ask?
no.
They just
There's
asked
something-
for
Well,
it.
listen, Artie Fuqua's gonna have to sell 1 million red suits. And Artie Fuqua bought 14. I don't want to say it's a black thing. 14 red 3-piece suits.
Yep, I see him.
Right.
Yep.
And matching hankies, and red bowler hats, and
He does look good.
matching red Escalades for 4 of them.
Oh man.
Now the big winner is a guy who happened to have an Escalade dealership near Artie Fuqua and red spray paint. Can you make it red? What a great life. Artie Fuqua, I believe his cut, there's rumors at 60 mil. Okay?
Wow.
And Artie Fuqua was jumping around on that Comedy Cellar stage, introducing Godfrey, Dan Natterman, assholes like me, Attell, for $20 a night. Can barely feed himself. The only thing he's eating for sustenance is white pussy.
Yep.
And and he went through the Bush years, everything. Not the president. And then he just happens to get a gig with Tracy Morgan, and some Walmart driver falls asleep and veers off. And all he has to do is sit there and wake up 3 weeks later, and he gets 50 mil.
Had to wait a year, though, I think, right?
Wow. A year flies by when you're Artie Fuqua.
He didn't miss a beat. So funny.
No, he didn't. And you know what? When I first saw him, I started to cry. I really did because he was such an alive person. We're good friends. I love that guy. As a matter of fact, we almost pictured Artie and Artie as a
Oh, that's funny.
And the big joke is every Halloween we say we go as Lamar Odom and Khloe Kardashian. You want to talk about laughs at the Stroys. And then he tries to jump up and down. I'm like, don't black it up. Just sit here. Don't be subtle. Stephen Wright. Think Stephen Wright.
He's so funny, though. You know,
He's the best. He's the best fucking MC. Man.
Without even that happening, he's like nothing's changed. Like
right. I mean, the accent makes him funnier.
He still would be with the girls. He'd still dress up even before.
The only thing
all
missing
that.
is you're saying the 50 million.
Exactly. He
had a real Artie. I love him. He had a real fucking tragedy. He loves his kids, and there's I think many of them. He has a kid with Paula Poundstone, I think. Any white comic. Spade was on tour with Ellen DeGeneres before she came out of the closet, and they were at the Dallas Improv, and he hit on her. And he hit on her. She wasn't into it. That's before I got the news. I said, yes, babe, that's why. But Fuqua he has a beautiful daughter, about 22, really gorgeous, and a real nice girl who got a ride home from Todd Barry one day. Todd's joke about I have a bunk bed, a loft in New York City. It's hard enough to get laid, but by the time if I ever got a girl back home, by the time she walked up the steps, she lost her buzz. The creepiest thing is here is Todd Barry go, I emailed your sister. You know the worst thing If a chick fucks Todd Barry, she could hear, I'm not Willie Nelson. That's a good one. Could you drive me home? Yeah, and Artie also had a. I gotta remember that. Also had a son who was 20 years old, and again looked exactly like Artie, a great guy. You know, picture Artie, but a little like if his father was his mother was white, and a bad comic. Great kid, athletic kid, played street basketball. His best friend is playing defense. Total accident, elbows Artie's son. The kid has an aneurysm and dies.
What?
On the you didn't know that, Dave?
No, I knew.
On the basketball court, Artie's son dies. And his best friend, insane guilt. Think about that. And, you know, he threw an elbow that you would do in any game and hit him the wrong way, hit his brain the wrong way. And he died. Had a pre-existing condition or whatever. And you know, I remember the most emotion I saw, I called Artie up. I said, I don't know what to say. I just felt I had to call you. And he was like, he was the best, man. He was my sunshine. Like all the appropriate stuff. And I mean, he went through that kind of tragedy. And, you know, look, who knows? Life is the architecture. Guy who architected life. Is architected a word? I feel Artie would have said that. The guy who architected life. The guy who designed life, whatever you want to say, is like with 50, you know, he's doing all that hard work, broke, and then, you know, a guy veers into the other lane, and what are you going to do? I've been opening up, and I dig a big hole with this. I say I saw Tracy Morgan's new house, and if anybody has been up for 28 hours and drives from Walmart, I'd be at exit 8A at 2 a.m. And I go, you could kill Matarese. I'll split the money with you. And that's what we call digging a hole. I shouldn't have opened with that. I did that one night at the Village Underground. The black comic Wilson Vince laughed so hard he had an ulcer. But you can't do that on your fucking special, can you? Real quick, Dave, your favorite Artie Fuqua bit.
I do not have one.
Dane Cook stole the Tyrannosaurus Rex impression from him. That was easy to follow. Dane Cook taking off his shirt, throwing beer all over himself and doing a T-Rex. And now Artie Lang. Anybody here have a VCR? Anybody here have a tape of a T-Rex impression? What about Dane Cook? What are his nights like? It's over.
Yeah, I was thinking
like that's a lot of energy. You don't know where to put. He's like every Saturday night. He's like, I feel like calling Barry Katz and doing a T-Rex impression.
Well, you know what, Artie? I was thinking when we were talking about the top 50 comics. I mean, in a way,
you mean according to Rolling Stone?
Well, yeah, exactly.
The list that didn't have Dennis Miller, but had they dropped the mic guy from Silicon Valley.
Yeah,
yeah. Go ahead.
No, it's just he was one of those people. Could you question putting him on at that?
Was he on?
No, he was. I don't.
But
think he was on
7 years ago, he was.
That's what I'm saying.
I think the funniest guy in his family is the brother-in-law that stole the money. Do you know how mad you are if you're the kind of guy who does that kind of hard work? Like, look, Dane Cook, whatever. If not your kind of comedy, blah, blah, blah. But you got to admit he's a talented guy and appeal to people. You know how mad you are at a guy who just steals $4 million? You're like, was he in Pittsburgh when I did the T-Rex? Was he in fucking Denver when I took my shirt off and jumped around doing a Tyrannosaurus Rex and a perfect one with beer all over me and pretending to go home and fuck a girl? I'm sorry. No, he wasn't. I think he was, Tim Cook, he was Dane's partner. And Dane's joke is applesauce. I stole it from him. No, terrible. He stole $4 million, all that hard work. And like Bernie Madoff, could you imagine your parents are 78 and they're like, can I have a room? Because a guy stole their money. You are murderous. That's murder. You could kill a guy. And Madoff with that smug, like, I don't know. My son killed himself? Okay. What an asshole. Those poor kids. Anyone see the Richard Dreyfuss?
Yeah, that was terrific.
Did you think he did a good job?
I did. I loved it.
I wanted him to, for just one scene, I wanted him to be the guy from Jaws. or the guy from Goodbye Girl.
Not a normal shark we're talking about.
The guy from
Martin.
Not the guy from Goodbye Girl. Listen. I know I lost $500 million for you, but I sleep in the nude. Buffo.
El Buffo. So if your daughter.
Listen, you French fuck. I sleep in the nude. Buffo.
I
Well,
meditate.
Well, listen, Bank of America. This was no boating accident.
I love the one in Jaws when he's like, I won't talk to someone who was going to be a hot lunch. He's yelling at the mayor.
Exactly.
Still wants a town open.
Yeah, they're all going to die.
Yeah.
That guy's so funny when he goes, where's the nearest hotel? Yeah, you walk straight ahead.
Oh, the guys in the boat going out?
Yeah, exactly. Someone must have thrown that in the river. It's called Katakuri is still hilarious. It's a little theory I have. You got city hands made off. You've been counting money all your life. You're not going to do this in prison, are you, Mr. Mado? Maybe I should go alone. Maybe I should go alone. Literally, the guy, Robert Shaw, is steaming teeth.
Yeah. So good.
Who thought of that? That's before CGI. The special of the making of Jaws, they actually had a big rubber shark. That never worked.
Yeah, didn't it not work till like the last?
Well, that's the whole thing. Because of that, they kept till the end. The monster.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the reason?
This big monster is not till the end, which is why Stuttering John's at the end of Dude, Where's My Car? He wasn't working.
You know what's funny is that I was watching it 2 nights ago. And
that's amazing.
When you hear the music,
that's called
because it's been so
overdone.
The
music's unbelievable.
But you think
John
it's a
Williams.
joke.
It's hacky.
I know he's going to eat that kid on the ref, but it seems hacky now. Like it's a setup. He's not. This isn't happening now because it's they use it in so many movies.
Yeah,
right,
it's been abused.
Right. No, I know. And
But it's brilliant what he did with 2 notes.
you think it's going to be Jaws 4: The Revenge with just the wife?
Michael Caine's in that.
Michael Caine's and everything.
He's amazing in that.
Michael, I do Jaws 4. I do movies like Jaws 4, so I could do Little Voice. I do movies.
Little voice.
I do movies like Jaws 4: The Red, so I could do Hannah and her sister.
So I could buy a home.
I've got my answer.
Why did you do The Swarm? I wanted to buy a house.
The Swarm. I do a movie like The Fog with Adrian Barbeau's tits, so I could do Little Voice. You said that already. Did I say I'm in Little Voice? One of the best Dennis Miller jokes. Michael Caine's and everything. I was watching my wedding video. The fucker's in it.
No, I wrote a Huffington Post article about Attell not being on it.
What'd you say?
I said he should be on it.
Well, HuffPost.
I talked about
keeping
what
with
you
their great
talked about.
journalism.
Norm Macdonald and all that stuff.
Yeah. There's a fucking list that should be out there. Norm Macdonald's not on it. Everybody, the 4th guy up Tuesday night at Largo is on there.
Yeah.
This underrated gay comic. Right before Tig Notaro did her famous, iconic "I Have Cancer" set. Yeah? What's cancer? What's the side effect? You're not funny? When she takes off her shirt in that special. Yeah, I'm trying to think. If you Googled opposite of funny, she looks like Christian Bale, the machinist.
Oh my god.
Which is kind of funny.
That is funny.
By the way, the London terror attacks. By the way, Jessica not laughing at anything. That's trying to get a job with Tig Notaro. Knock, knock. It's Tig and Dave.
I am.
Knock, knock. It's Tig and Juskow.
I am afraid of her.
I'll tell you, I caught it. That's one of those things, Knock, knock, it's Tig Notaro, where you could put on any scene and it's funny. I caught the scene where she thinks she has cancer again. And, oh my God, I challenge anyone not to laugh. Because then it becomes a dramedy. And she's amazing.
I always wonder in that knock knock one where there's a boy in the house like, oh, I can't believe Tig Notaro's here. Like,
if there's any human being,
like, but
her mother wouldn't get excited. Knock, knock, Tig's home. Oh, yeah? Someone put out the air mattress. Knock, knock, it's Sloan Kettering.
Oh, shit.
Oh, whatever. It's a podcast. Nobody cares. Dan's a cancer survivor. You know, when I make cancer jokes about Dan, you laugh. Right?
Yeah.
Do
come
they
on,
know you're a
guys.
cancer survivor?
Pardon?
I didn't
Do
know.
they know you're a cancer survivor? Dan also not funny.
I did not know.
You're funnier than Tig Notaro.
Thank you.
But I'm working on Tig as an iconic guitar player called Tig Navarro. Knock, knock, it's Tig Navarro. Or a Jimi Hendrix type, knock, knock, it's Jig Navarro. Right in the last 30 seconds, we got more laughs than in the entire special. The wrong people might be laughing at it, according to the Showtime execs.
Tig Navarro was in the Indigo Girls.
That would,
Other bands.
that would be so great.
Yeah.
I mean, how great would that be?
It's really funny.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, Artie, we heard the laughs, but were they the right laughs? Yeah, people were laughing. So the terror attack in London, sad news. Our relations with London terrible right now because an American citizen was killed near Buckingham Palace, and it's the only time those guards laughed. And
The Beef Eaters.
Donald Trump just tweeted that as a fact. Guards laugh at American citizen dying. Only time guards at Buckingham Palace laugh. Sick. Failing sick.
Failing.
Didn't even laugh at my son Eric's Fred Travelina impression. How about the Trump kids trying to make those guards laugh? By not drinking. You know how hot their fucking wives are, those two fucking kids. Do you know what Eric Trump's wife would look like if he was Eric, like jerk off face from Queens? Me in a beret. Monica Lewinsky. She would look like Rick Santorum. We're gonna wrap this up.
Yes, sir.
This is what I call banter with two funny guys and Jessica.
Yeah. Saw that coming.
You know what that joke was like? That joke was like, you're right. It was like I had those two orange things on a runway, and I was bringing it in. And the question, is it going to land on Jessica or Filato? Because Anthony, not being a comic, it would be rude. Yeah. It would be like if he and he's actually very funny, but not being a comic, he should not be. It's not fair to put him in that. That's sort of showbiz etiquette.
He's a civilian.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, Dan, I'm not sure. It claims he did stand up once at Zany's with Steve Dahl because someone else had to hold his coke. But no, Kevin Matthews was in town. But so it would be like if Anthony were with two other authors and did the same joke. And, although I think Anthony's peerless in the writing for D-list comics. The fact that you actually got something that could be called a book with Tracy Morgan, like something that people wouldn't laugh you out of a Barnes & Noble by saying it's a book.
It's not a coloring book.
No, it's a colored book. You teed up that.
Yeah.
You teed up that joke that anyone can make sitting on an Elks right now. Reminds me of my black friend, Mike Cord. I had a lot of black friends, but he went to yeah, I did. I went to I'm trying to name the ones I have now. There's Greer Barnes. I have his number. That's an old number, actually. That's the old waitress who we lived in the basement of. Greer, by the way, celebrating his 18th kid with a waitress at the Comedy Store.
Right.
God.
Right?
You're not even exaggerating.
No, I'm not. His first kid is Kathy Griffin. With his first girlfriend, Elaine Boozler. Emphasis on the booze. Elaine Boozler, by the way, is in History of Comedy. Anybody watch that on CNN?
No.
Do you see it advertised in History of Comedy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it good? Is it worthwhile?
It's not even close to the funniest thing on our Twitter, on our delete, on our DVR. What is it called? DVR, yeah. It's not even close to the funniest thing. 600-pound life. Every episode's funnier. But I don't know. I'm trying to think who makes some great points. Patton Oswalt is so mad and frustrated when he goes, I can't believe we're still talking about women in comedy. 2017, it's so fucking frustrating. He feels it should be just a moot point. And the fact of the matter is, most women aren't funny, but most men aren't funny. That's the point. Most people aren't
Excellent
funny.
point. That's true.
Thank you. Do not make that on another documentary. Don't make that point. Don't steal it. No, the Drake Sather blew his head off, and he was a fucking great comic. But he wrote for News Radio and Larry Sanders, and he stopped doing the road, and he gave Spade his act. He didn't even. It didn't even cost him money. Spade. He said to Spade, "You want it? I'm not doing stand up ever again." And it was about 40 minutes of great stuff. And Spade's first special is mostly Drake Sather.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And, everybody knew it. He wasn't stealing it. It was like sort of comedy etiquette in a way. Sather gave him the act. He goes, I'm never doing it again. Because he had a 4th year guaranteed on News Radio. He's going to make money, benefits, all that shit. And then something happened where he didn't. And he had 5 kids, and he wrote this insanely long note that the cops found that Norm somehow got, because Norm was friends with him. And I found out in Aspen, Colorado. I was on a lift going up the main mountain there with Peter Principato. Yeah, and me and Peter before the tapeworm, and we had just eaten. And the cold up there, it squeezes up your fucking asshole. So Pete's friend Moose was very frustrated. But and there was a kid, very feminine. Worked at Subway. No. Very feminine. Three arches. Okay, he was an assistant at 3 Arts. Peter knew him. 3 of us on this fucking ski lift. He gets a fucking thing on his BlackBerry at the time. They called it Crackberry. Remember those first BlackBerries?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He gets a thing on there and he goes, guys, did anybody... He's 23. He had no idea what Drake Sather. He goes, either one of you guys know Drake Sather? And I said, yeah, actually. I know him through a friend. And I'm a big fan of his. He goes, he died. He was found dead. He was a suicide at the Century Hotel in Century City. I said, you got to be kidding me. He goes, yeah, they have found the suicide note. It's terrible. And I put my head down and I was like, oh, my God. And we're in a ski lift. And Peter looked down, too. I don't know if Peter knew him, but he was doing the appropriate thing a manager does. And he put his head down. And, okay, I'm going to say 7 seconds went by. And the 3 Arts kid went, hey, the CAA party's on. The CAA party was going to be canceled because of snow. But apparently just, drowning out the Sather news was the CAA party's on. Because Drake would have loved to go to that party. And there would be a big tribute there. That literally, Drake Sather died. He had suicide. Oh, my God. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Hey, CAA's party's on. And Peter cheered right up. I'm going to get the pancakes. We were on the top of the lift. If Peter and I really cried at the Sather news, we could have lodged it free. And a third of comedy would have. And that assistant, by the way, you know who he was. You guessed it.
Rick Dorfman.
Chris Bosh. No, Rick Dorfman.
I just assumed Drake Sather was handled by Dorfman.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, that's because, of course, yeah. Dorfman in a long line of suicides.
Exactly.
Dorfman tried to make a sitcom out of the note.
Jeez.
Was the outline. No, but Norm said it was so funny because it was all sarcastic. It said, I can't go on living in a world where I just can't be as funny as classic shows like Sex and the City. And if I can't be as funny as the best show of all time, Sex and the City.
Is it? Wow. Is that that's the note?
Yeah, like he made fun. He goofed on TV.
Oh my God.
And Norm said, it's funny, man. On our show, it's going to be real depressing. We're going to steal from a suicide note. And I almost stole from his note when I stabbed myself. I had the note. I was going to just put my name on it. Can you imagine the last thing I did was steal a bit? I'll be as funny as Drake Sather if it's the last thing I do. Everyone wouldn't have known but Norm at the eulogy. He tells everybody, hey, man, listen, I loved Artie, but I got Sanders' note right next to him. Let's put that up on the projector in the church. If you look here, Sanders, yeah, it's the same. And then I'm going to put up Spade's first special. Yeah, Melania Trump says to her dad one day, I'm 14, and for some reason I'm hotter than everyone in the family. I sprouted up. I leave Sylvania. I get on train. I go to America. Hopefully I meet successful dentist. Make money, go to Caribbean, and come back and get you all a house. That would have been successful. She's the fucking first lady. That is a jackpot on a level. Do you know how much her hairy father probably jumped up and down? The guy probably looks like that fat guy from Borat. Melania McWhitehouse. And then tragically, Trump had them killed. Listen, Melania, your dad was wonderful. Your dad was the greatest dad ever, besides my dad, and besides me, but and besides when my sons become dads. But yeah, very tragic, very tragic. A guy named Roger Stone killed them. Yeah, I'm very sorry. The New York Times killed them. Yeah, but I mean, what is, like, imagine you just going to America is your one goal. Like, she's the fucking first lady. Yeah. That is not talked about enough. Well, you know what else isn't spoken about enough? You're a non-sports fan. I have to mention this once every year. This, to me, is the greatest feat in the history of the United States of America. And non-sports fans are not going to get what I'm talking about. Just guy, you might... You know, again, I would say Dan Filato, but he lies. Dan claims he hit a ball out of Wrigley Field. Now, we had a home run derby challenge at DirecTV at a Little League field. He didn't get it past the mound. You swung like you were in The Sound of Music. I mean, again, Mitch Williams was there announcing, Major League Baseball player. He goes, Arctic can hit. Rest of them, nothing, no, not at all terrible. And, all right. Mitch Williams' favorite comedian, Pauly Shore, by the way. Yeah, and his last special, he kept going how Osama rhymes with Obama. Man, that's funny. That's the whole last part of the Pauly Shore special. He goes, Osama rhymes with Obama. Coincidence. No. He goes, all the chicks in the yeah. Summer rhymes with Obama, yeah, yeah, Louisa. He got Eric Holder to go, the former Attorney General, sitting in the front. I don't know why. He went up to him and went, yo, Attorney General, Osama rhymes with Obama. What was I saying? Oh, Slovenia? What was I talking about? I was about to make a great
Melania Trump. Suicide note.
No, I moved on from that.
Sports.
Okay, thank you. That was the greatest feat in the history of the United States. Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. hit back-to-back home runs in a Major League Baseball game. Now, again, the fact that everyone in the room didn't go is astonishing to me. I'm going to repeat that. Think of it. Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr., his son, hit back-to-back home runs in a Major League Baseball game. All right, I'll have to break it down. I didn't think I'd have to do this. All right. Say you're born. Okay, say you're a man and you have a son. All right. The odds that the son goes to work with you one day could happen. You know, say you're a roofer or whatever. The kid gets to be 10 years old, you take the kid to work, kid doesn't like that, starts whining, falls off the roof, he's never working with you again. Instead of that, what are the odds that you, as his dad, become a Major League Baseball player? Not just a baseball player, not semi-pro, not a Little League coach, not AAA, not AA, not single A, a Major League Baseball player. That's not going to be a flash in the pan. Okay, you become a baseball player. Now, you can be for 3 weeks. You're not there for 3 weeks. You're there for 10 years. So your son grows. Your son gets into Little League. When your son's in Little League, you're still a Major League Baseball player. Odds are by the time he gets to high school, you're out of the league. when he's in high school and becomes an adult, when your son turns 18, now I realize in the black community this is not as uncommon, but your son turns 18, you're still a Major League Baseball player, which means you're a great player. You're playing for 20 years. Okay. Your son gets on the high school baseball team. The odds of you being a Major League Baseball player for 20 years and your son liking baseball and being good enough to be on the high school team, not the greatest odds in the world. Okay, I'll keep going. All right. He's in college, 19. He gets a scholarship to college. You're still in the major leagues. He's good enough to say, fuck it. I'm not going. I'm going to go into the draft. He's that good. Your son gets drafted at 19. Starts playing double-A ball for, let's say, the Reds. You were a Red mostly. Okay, now, here's another coincidence. There are 28 baseball teams. Your son gets drafted by the same team you were on. All right, I'll keep going. Okay, he plays double-A, triple-A for the Reds. You're still on the Major League Reds. Now you get traded to the Mariners. You go, fuck. We're not going to play for the same team. Odds are we would never play. So he gets on the Reds. You play long enough on the Mariners to where he gets traded to the Mariners. I'll keep going. All right. What are the odds of that? Right there, you go, that could never have happened. So now your son and you are on the same baseball team that you both got traded from the same baseball team. You're both in the major leagues. I'll keep going. All right. The Jamie Lee Curtis and Tony Curtis being actor and actor, not as impressive because it's all about, nepotism. In the major leagues, there's no nepotism. You got to hit 40 homers. And that's what he did. All right. They're both lefty. Did I say that? All right. Now they're both on the Mariners. You're 48 years old. You're still on the roster. You're sitting the bench mostly. Your kid's amazing. Your kid's even better than you, and you're probably a Hall of Famer. You're sitting the bench. One day, you get put in. Now you're in the same lineup, on the same fucking lineup card as your son in the major. I'm going to keep going, guys. In the major leagues. You're both in the lineup. You're designated hitter. Your kid's playing first. You're both black people. All right. Now you're in the same lineup. Okay, that is incredible that happened. Now you're not hitting ninth. You're hitting fifth. What's your son hitting? Fourth. You're hitting back-to-back in the same lineup on a Major League Baseball team. Most father and sons don't eat back-to-back pizzas. Okay. You're back. Now, okay, you get a single. You hit a single. What are the odds your kid is going to fucking hit a single? Your kid will probably strike out. You get a pop-up. Okay, you pop up. Yeah, you both hit the ball. You both didn't strike out. Another at bat. Your kid doubles. You pop up. Nothing happened. But you expect this. Nothing. This can never happen. You can get back-to-back hits. And you're about to retire. You have kidney stones. Your kid's a Hall of Famer. Okay. Your third time up, you hit a home run. Your kid is... Who is fourth? Okay, no. Your kid hits a home run. You're after the kid. You get up. Everybody's cheering. They're crying. You hug your kid. You're on the same team, and you watched from the on-deck circle your son hit a home run. There's not a dry eye in the fucking house, even by white people. They're happy for you. You get up, and you hit a home run. You hit a home run. You hit a home run. You've just hit back-to-back home runs on a Major League Baseball team with your son. It's the single greatest thing that's ever happened. It'll never happen again. It'll never come close to happening again. Not even in the Japanese leagues. Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. are an American father and son who hit back-to-back home runs on a Major League Baseball team. I mean, the fact that you guys aren't astonished is really creeping me out.
My problem was
stunned into silence.
Yeah,
over here.
I didn't know that they were. I didn't know they played at
Related?
the same time. No, I didn't know they played at the same time.
Well, when I said they hit back-to-back home runs,
I know. I wasn't. I know you said that, but I thought maybe you meant on the same day. I thought.
no.
I
That's,
thought.
see, this is what's astonishing. No,
I
That's
get
not what
it
I meant.
now, but I thought
I
maybe
meant
you also
they-
meant that they hit back-to-back home runs like multiple times. I wasn't sure. I didn't know they ever played in the same
remind me
team.
never to tell anything to Dave Juskow. Remind me to never tell you anything ever again, because now I know David Tell hates you. You thought I meant they hit back to back
I don't-
multiple times?
I don't know. I wasn't
Honestly,
sure. I didn't know they played
that's the
together.
worst reaction.
No, that was a
But
fascinating
okay,
story.
you did know they played together.
Yeah.
When I said they hit back-to-back home runs, wouldn't that cover that?
You would think that, but I guess I was thinking his dad was much older. I had no idea.
Well,
His dad is much older. Yeah.
Did they play for like 1 year?
Dave, hence my point.
he is.
It's an astonishing story because his dad is much older. He's
Yeah.
his dad.
No, I know.
How much older is your dad than you?
I think it was 30 years.
Wow. So that's what makes the story. I don't even know what to say.
So how old was his dad at the
Picture
time?
you and your father. Well,
When they
your
did
father
that.
made musicals. Picture
think-
you both played Pippin. The same theater season.
You know what?
No. No, but Dave.
He's in his late 40s.
No, I think it's racism.
He was in his late
I think
40s?
I think
That's what Artie
I think
just
it's racism. I think you're going, okay, they have the extra bone. No, again, Anthony's not that into sports. I get it.
It's a fascinating story.
Dan, I think, is
football.
always Dan. I think is somewhat homophobic about it. I don't know why. Listen, I don't care if guys do anything. I like kids. Dan overcompensating. If Lola Falana does something, let me know. But Dave, you are a sports fan.
Yeah.
And you ruined the story.
Well, that's why I let you tell it.
You said, well, thank you. You said that. Well, I thought that he'd be much older.
Well, it came out the wrong way.
Again, a
but
racist thing.
how's that racist?
Well, because a black guy could be, 8 years older than his son. That's how it's
Well,
racist.
they're not Latino.
Well, no, the blacks are worse in that area. Don't you listen to Rick Santorum stats? No, I'll never talk about it again. I'll never talk about it again. And with the Griffey family is honored that I do that once a year.
What
Because
year
no
did
one
that
else,
take-
no one else points that out.
What year did that take place?
Who cares?
Because I'd like to see that.
Who gives a shit?
There's got to be a video of it. I'd like
Yeah,
to see
you know
that.
what? Yeah, there's video of it.
I've never seen
Because
it.
it was after 1930. There's also a video of the Trump inauguration. But yeah, there's video of it. They're jumping up and down. They're going like, "Oh my god! Oh my god! A father and son, you fucking!" They're jumping up and down. Google jumping up and down. Blacks. You'll have to go through a lot of basketball tournaments. Except Duke teams. I mean, are you trying to be funny? You're trying to be cool? Like,
I was not trying to be funny.
well, God, try
I'm
to
an
be
idiot.
funny.
I'm sorry.
You're not an idiot. You're just again. I guess it's not that impressive.
It's very impressive.
I have to call.
I don't know
Ken-
why
I have to
I'd
call
never heard
Mr.
of it.
I have to call Mr. Griffey and say I'm sorry it didn't work out this year. I told it to showbiz types. There's video, by the way, of all Nolan Ryan's no hitters.
Are they both Hall of Famers? Both Griffies?
You don't stop talking. Wow. I think so. Yeah. Did Ken Griffey Jr. make the Hall? Did Griffey Sr. make the Hall of Fame? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about Griffey Sr.
Again, these are all questions that ruin it.
I'm sorry.
You're watering
I'm
down.
fascinated.
You're taking away the fucking.
I'm enjoying.
Look, your
learning.
favorite fucking Silicon Valley actor's on.
Sorry.
It's really the point. Is
He doesn't
the
give a.
odds.
You're right. Well, yeah, that's absolutely the point.
So rare.
And you know how I do love the odds.
Yeah. And hate the blacks. What? So no, your favorite guy's on. He wouldn't think this is impressive either. This kid. He'd go, "Who cares? African Americans do a lot of better things now. Like what? White people haven't done anything that great." I feel like digging up my father and telling him that. Dad, a father. Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm trying to think what the odds are. My father used to hit me baseballs, but he's not a good baseball player. Neither one of us made the major leagues. Nobody makes the major. I'm gonna count to 10. Dave, do you have any plugs?
So what are you saying then? That these two guys
You know what? Just Google it. You want me to Google it? Matter of fact, we'll Google
Just kidding.
it. Where's my phone?
I know it's bothering.
Bothering me. Sorry.
This baseball you speak of, they play it every year.
We were just talking about the movie Sleeper, Woody Allen, when he's looking at video. The guy finds videotape of the old, and he shows Woody Allen, Howard Cosell talking about sports, and the guy goes, "The only thing we can think this is if a criminal did something really bad and was forced to watch those." And Woody Allen goes, "Yes, that's exactly right."
That's actually very true, Wes.
I'm actually going to show the video of you going, "Did they do it multiple times?"
Well,
I feel you're trying to be funny.
I was not.
Here's the irony.
I know I could get out of it, but I wasn't trying to be funny.
during the story.
You can't get out of it. You know what's more impressive? This Eloquist commercial. There's okay. Say a father and son were both in the same commercial for the same product. That's long odds.
That would be unbelievable.
Say Dan's son produced a successful podcast.
Oh, come on. Now you're just being crazy.
That's what I mean. Say Dan hung around this podcast long enough to where it actually made sense to stay here. And, wasn't arrested for me putting something in his pants by mistake.
Boy.
Say, I hope to God, in my room, the TV in my room and the TV in this room do not record stuff. Like that secret stuff where they record shit. If this... Okay, I'm trying to think what would be worse. If the TV in my bedroom secretly has been recording me for the last 16 years, I'll die in San Quentin. In the same cell as Manson used to be.
How about the microwave?
With the same black guy punching me in the face. No, the microwave will just have me calling the ravioli guys at Fresh Direct dumb wops. Now, the microwave will have a shot of the back of Jusko's head going, did they do it multiple times? I don't get it. Isn't Ken Griffey's father much older?
When did this happen?
2 years after the discovery of dirt. It was just as your family was doing a musical. What, didn't your parents put on musicals and jump out?
No, they did not put on musicals.
What did they do?
They just... What did they do for a living?
Yeah, what'd your father do?
My dad sold bras and girdles.
Oh, right. I wanted you to say that. So say, what are the odds that you sell bras and girdles?
I did.
Right, you did. Okay. Okay, so that's even a bit.
Maybe you started your own line or something.
Right. No. Say you sell bras and girdles to the same family just after your father sold bras and girdles. Yeah. So you're both going door to door, and for some reason the woman...
Door to door.
For some reason the woman goes, wait a minute, even though I just brought bras and girdles... From a guy who looks about 30 years older than you. There's something about your charisma that this never fucking happens. And you're going, you're right, it doesn't. I'm going to buy bras and girdles from you, even though I just bought bras and girdles. And then you go, Dad, you got to listen to what's happening. And your dad goes, what? You're not selling bras and girdles. I just sold bras and girdles. No. They're buying bras and girdles. Me and you are both just cows. Okay, already a fucking mountain to get over. And we both sell bras and girdles. You are in the business of selling bras and girdles, and for some reason your son wants to sell bras and girdles. And you sold it to this family, and I sold it to this family. Like, let's fucking celebrate. What are the odds of that? I guarantee the Star Ledger would have printed that.
And we sold the Bambergers.
Right. You sell to Asperger's. How about if we make a department store Asperger's and Bruschetti's like the head of the manager? Audie, I'm the manager. Audie, I'm at Asperger's. Audie, I was told someone on Twitter said you're making fun of me. Audie, by the way, my father and I both work here. He has Asperger's. We both sold the same suit to a retard. They specialize in suits for fat retards.
Oh, my God.
Audie, if I tell people if you have Asperger's, if you move to Denver, your IQ, because of the altitude, falls 3 points. You're full-blown retarded in Denver. You get all the benefits out of a three-piece suit. we let out the Artie Fuqua red suits. How about I want to do a show where Boschetti's head is like Kazoo. Hello, Dum Dum. Boschetti's head turns up a bunch of Flintstones. Hey, Dum Dums. Oh my God, Bonnie, it's the great Boschetti. What do you want to tell us? I forgot. Your Martian helmet doesn't fit. That's my head. Well, great Boschetti, you got to get a Martian helmet. Otherwise, you won't be able to breathe. Oh, my God, you're right. And then Boschetti's head suffocates, and that's how the movie ends. Guys, get me some air. Bonnie, give me mouth to mouth. No fucking way, pretty. Then Barney Rubble Frank goes, hey, I'm lighting loafers and I'm not touching it. How about Barney Frank Vincent? I don't know, Joe. Your fucking brother's being a fucking asshole.
You bust my balls.
Why don't you fucking bust his balls? Why do you go, well, fuck me in the ass? He doesn't like you. You gotta be used to that. Nobody likes you. I'll be at the gym in the other joint. Why not, though? Okay. Well, I guess, how about Barney Frank Zappa?
Ooh, that's good.
The Mothers of Invention. And, get back-to-back home runs. Same father and son are both gay. And they suck the same dick.
Back to back.
Back-to-back dicks.
Oh, crap.
Even that, they give back-to-back Blumpkins. Even that isn't as impressive. Because you have control over that. Some young pitcher gave up... I'm going to stop talking. All right, we should do the plugs. We've spoken for 3 hours, and this was a lot of fun. Yeah. Up until the end.
Sorry, I ruined everything.
Not everything.
Hi, Artie. It's me, Great Boschetti.
I know, Mario Bosco. Mario Bosco claims he would have looked like John Stamos if his mother didn't take a Sudafed.
You're damn right I would, you motherfucker. Why would you even say that?
I go, why don't you fucking...
My mother's a fucking saint, you son of a bitch.
Why don't you sue the Sudafed company? She's a good woman. Yeah, no Italians in Bensonhurst are into a scam on an insurance company.
You gonna buy some of my chocolate?
Yeah, I know. You're selling poison Zagnuts. The fucking... That's Barney Frank Vincent talking. All right, I got to put Vaseline in my diabetic hands. Tomorrow I'll be at Blue Lives Matter. And Tommy Lauren.
Tomorrow's...
Yeah.
Tomorrow,
Oh, no, tomorrow's Montclair.
Montclair.
It'll be funny if I went to Blue Lives Matter. By the way, it's Tommy Lauren, the conservative chick, came out that she is pro-choice. No shit. Every broad is. Believe me, Donald Trump is not pro-choice. Right. Okay? Okay? You know how many Marlon Maples kids will be flying around? You know how many times Planned Parenthood's fucking weekly roster says M. Maples? Yeah, Tommy Lauren, this smoking hot blonde conservative broad. She was supposed to introduce me. She's not coming now because she's no longer liked in the conservative world. I got arrested for heroin and coke. I'm still going. They can't love that. Yeah, so it's going to be Blue Balls Matter. That's right. We got to do the story because, you know, Anthony Bose and I are you know, Anthony, of course, doing amazing work. And again, we had 2 bestsellers that were like 400 pages. Calm the fuck down. We're going to write a great book, but it's going to be more like the Chris Rock, Jerry Seinfeld thing, only it's going to be good. It's Jerry Seinfeld's book, Sign Language, great title. That's where the great ends. If Jerry Seinfeld's father was a comedian, they both wrote books that came out. Do you understand that wouldn't be as impressive?
No,
No, not even close. Not even close. So what this story proves is even parrots can get addicted to heroin. Probably want smack. An amazing story. Drug-addled birds sit perched and wait before swooping down behind workers' backs for a nibble, before retreating to high branches where some then fall to their death passed out. So it's kind of like Compton. Parrots are an Italian neighbor. Parrots flying high on drugs are annoying farmers by plundering their poppy fields to feed their opium addiction. The drug addict birds sit perched and wait until the morphine-rich area is exposed by workers splitting open the flower pods to help them ripen. First of all, how do you become a construction worker here? Like, aren't the workers addicted to... The parrots then swoop down in silence into the opium fields. In parrot withdrawals. Having learned not to squawk and frantically nibble off the stalks below the pod before they are spotted. Video shows them retreating to high branches where they gorge on the plants, leaving them sleeping for hours and even falling to their death. Which is their version of nodding off with a cigarette lit on the couch. And you're not living with Filato, who has a handy hose. This phenomenon was first reported in 2015 by a parrot. Polly, suck your dick. Polly, suck your dick. Polly, suck your cock. Polly, suck your cock for Poppy. Suck your cock for Poppy. Polly will blow you. Polly will blow you. Polly will blow you. Polly will use no beak, no beak, no beak. I'm a colored bird. I'm a colored bird. I'm a bird of color. I'm a bird of color. I'll suck your cock. I'll suck your cock. Suck your cock for Poppy. Polly for Poppy. Poppy for poppycock. Polly sucks poppycock. You're making no sense, Polly. Do you want a cracker? No, I want Poppy. You want a cracker? No, I want H. I want to shoot Heron. Polly wants to shoot Heron. Polly's a wigger. Polly's a wigger. Sabraham Rathod, an opium farmer. What a perfect name. That was my first fucking guess for an opium farmer. Sabriam Rathod. Well, that's actually how gay people pronounce Ahmad Rathod. An opium farmer from Neemuch, India. By the way, Dan, call John Voldastri for tickets to Neemuch. One way. And I ain't going to be needing my phone. All I'm going to need is a parrot catching net. Estimates. Okay, this guy who basically culls heroin. Estimates parrots are stealing around 10% of his crop, and he has been given a warning by the drug gang.
Oh man,
he's been given a warning by the Taliban. Usually the parrots would make sound when in a group, but these birds have become so smart. They don't make any noise. One bird claimed to another bird that he wrote the theme song to Sanford and Son in 20 minutes. Okay. Another parrot claims he wrote the solo to "Gimme Shelter" outside his friend who was a parrot who was fucking his wife, Mick Jagger. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Unbelievable. One parrot went on heroin and got a little cooler. Says he now hates Jimmy Buffett. Fuck the parrot heads, man. The big coincidence. Arguably the greatest heroin user of all time and one of the biggest musical geniuses, Charlie Parker, whose nickname was Bird. How about that?
Yeah.
Even that's not as impressive as Ken. May I say this? Bird lives. Now, the reason I bring this up with Anthony here, the book we're writing is about gambling. It's about my life, how it applies, not just to sports, about how gambling is an ongoing theme. And when you're a degenerate gambler, like myself, and admittedly my friend, the great Norm Macdonald, who's a genius and has some of the genius flaws, like, degenerate gambling. The theory is you have to lose. you're not happy winning. You got to stay at the table. Because look, you could grind out craps. If you know how to play craps and you're patient and you're able to be bored and play for 9 hours, you'll make about $800 a day. There's no way you could lose if you're patient. You bet the don't pass, you bet the horn. It's the greatest odds, but you got to be patient. Gambling is when you hit with an 18. All right? That's gambling. That's when you get the juice. You go, it's a 3, it's a 3 and 3. No, it's a 10 buy. Here's a free roast beef sandwich.
Just give me the 3.
Exactly. The Gambler with James Caan. The Gambler with James Caan. Not the Gambler with Mark Wahlberg. Oof. The Gambler with James Caan. I say I like the Gambler publicly with Wahlberg because Wahlberg will drop you. I know. It's gambling is that way, and that's what our book's about. Now, this story also says that some parrots are not going near these branches. Now, this is amazing. Some parrots, in my opinion, and I'm no parrot scientist, but they're seeing the risk in doing this. Their other parrot friends are becoming addicted to heroin. And their guitar playing getting way better. They're the later drumming on "Who Are You" better. They're taping their headsets with duct tape to their head.
Exile on Parakeet Street.
Unbelievable, absolutely. You see, even rhyming better. They're taking a Mandrex from fucking Keith Richards' wife. Anita Parrotberg. The puns go on. Yeah. But so even in the animal world, they're noticing risk. And after what happened to me this week again, I'm 49. I'm still getting arrested. If I could go back, I've said this joking, my life was chaotic in the 90s on Blow. Chaotic. But coke is like, you can stop doing coke. You can stop smoking weed. Opiates become a part of you, which is why there's an epidemic. It's oxygen. If you do them straight for a week, some guys, it's just a couple of days. 2 weeks, without question. You now have a habit. Well, Miles Davis used to call it a habit. I got a habit now. And, you now need, every 8 hours, heroin. And one day the parrots are going to go back to that branch, and the workers would have got rid of all the poppy. And they're going to go, Polly want to know what we're going to fucking do now. Polly going to know what the fuck we're going to Paddock and Parrot Park. And now what? They're going to go through birdie withdrawals. And it is, withdrawals are like, I can't even describe it. I'm trying to think of an actor who did them properly. Like, I always took Clarence Williams III. There's a movie called Sugar Hill. The movie's not that good. It's about heroin dealers in Harlem. And Wesley Snipes is good in it. He's good in everything. He's been in some shit scripts, but you got to have enough money to not give taxes. He did real time. Had to come out and do Trinity 2, 4, and 8. But Clarence Williams III from Mod Squad has a scene where he gets a hot shot from his son, who's a heroin dealer, and dies. But before he ties himself off and does a whole speech about the first time he tried heroin. And he's in withdrawals, and he's sweating. And I swear to God, I can't even watch it. It's so well done. Looks like Clarence might have had some experience. But he ties himself off and he tells his son, you gotta, if you're selling this, you gotta stay away from it. And the line that could be cheesy by a lesser actor is when he says, I was on my way to church and the dealer stopped me and said, "Son, this is your God." And see, I just did it terribly. But he pulls it off. Black people can do that with certain things. Like Quincy Jones used to call me Cat. Funny cat. If Ryan Seacrest says that to you, you want to hit him with a fungo. Q can pull it off, and I call him Q. Another parrot told the other parrot he produced Thriller. So again, there's a jazz documentary that Ken Burns put out about 15 years ago. It's one of my favorite documentaries, except the one on New York that his brother did. And there's an entire episode. It's 11 episodes, like most Ken Burns things. I don't know. It was like 18 years or one of these fucking things. Based on Charlie Parker and him and Dizzy Gillespie with an invention, bebop. They basically improvised on stage in jazz. Now, look, I love the story of those two guys, and I guess they were geniuses. But when you hear some jazz, you go, "What is so impressive about that?" these other jazz musicians go, "Yeah, people don't get it." Like in other words, there were songs that went ba da 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 da, and Charlie Parker went ba da 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 da. I'm like, okay, yeah. For that, he got a lot of pussy. The key is to get the audience to do heroin.
Then all jazz is great.
That was the genius. Like the old joke where the Deadheads sobered up and went, "What? We followed this around? How about the 14-minute version of Truckin'?" And it's called Risk. The episode is called Risk. By the way, the first episode of Crashing is called Artie Lang. The last episode with Artie Lang in it is called Sunday Night. No, I'm kidding. So I want to say that that is so true, and I realized that part of me, when I tried heroin, I had done everything you do with coke. I had the one hitter with Dave. I got the voice of Archer to be scared, and part of me really went. Part of the loser in me said, "I survived cocaine. I survived pills. I survived, like in a lot of ways, gambling. I got through those early crazy years, and the smoke cleared. I'm on Stern. I'm making $100,000 a fucking weekend. I'm on my dream show, my dream job." I'm telling stories about me when I was a kid for 20 million people get laughs I thought I'd never tell before. I'm talking about my buddy who stole a canoe. Making money doing it. I'm doing Foghorn Leghorn impressions. The only job I could have got. Guidance counselor said, "You'll never use it." I'm using it. Thanks, Mr. Mafucci. Some visionary you are. But what do I need? I need to fuck that up. And how do you fuck that up more than anything? I like getting high. I've done every drug. Heroin. But what's the risk? That you get hooked on it. And I'm like, I'll try it one night. And if I could go back to that hotel room in a city that starts with B and ends with N, Paul Revere may or may not have started there, I would have tackled me before I even did it. I snorted this China white. This kid got this white. To this day, I've not had good shit like that. Maybe because of the first hit. But, there's a chapter in my book, do heroin, it's better for your liver. I was taking 110 10-milligram Percocets a day. I'm going to repeat that. If you don't like the Griffey thing, be impressed by this. 110 pills, 10-milligram Percocets a day. And the kid who at the club who had to get me on stage, I had 5 sold-out shows. He goes, "Listen, man, snort heroin is better for your liver." And I said, "Thanks, doctor." You know my doctor, Dr. Billy Moonbot. He said, "You're fat." I said, "I'd like a second opinion." He said, "All right, you're ugly." And again, I tell a story in the first book. I did the 2 lines, and I laid back on the bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I said, alone in a hotel room, before I hit the pillow, "I'm in trouble." I said it. To who? Maybe my father wasn't listening. And I laid back. The movie that happened to be on demand was a movie called Alex and Emma with Luke Wilson and Kate Hudson. And I've been in group therapy in rehabs, and I've tried to tell young kids, this is how strong heroin is. I did not get up to change the movie. It was a movie called Alex and Emma. Luke Wilson played Alex. Kate Hudson played Emma. It just was starting. I laid back. The high was so good, I kept Alex and Emma on. I could have reached the clicker. I kept it on. It was so good, 40 minutes into the film, I kept going, "Alex, how could you say that to Emma? She moved everything to New Hampshire for you." And I chased it. From that day to last week in my garage. Anyway, TMZ, right on the... TMZ, thank you, by the way. Right on the money. TMZ right there to cost you a podcast. Or a show on HBO. According to HBO, I still have a job. But I made a lot of headlines today when I went on the Sid and Rosenberg show and said that Sid looked like Imus's father. He's old looking, Sid, but he's in very good shape. And he did that thing that, weightlifters do where he made me feel his arm. I said, "Who am I, Ray Charles?" Wait, you're either Kerry Washington or a Jew DJ. So the point is, I want the last part of the book, and what I want to do, it's all going to be about that risk, the heroin thing. And I want to try to help people by going, and it's this literal. It sounds simple, but it's kind of a difficult thing to do because money's involved. If you're a doctor The only way you're going to stop this heroin epidemic is if doctors go and sit down and are this literal and honest with kids. Say you're a 17-year-old kid, 18-year-old kid has a football injury, comes in, or if you somehow can get injured in soccer. I don't know how that happens. Say he gets injured sending an email. Say he tweets something about an offensive joke he just saw on Artie Lang. Artie Lang can't breathe and I can't take it anymore. Something was said in a safe space. Pick something. His heart is bruised. He's injured. And what doctors have been doing is saying, look, I'm a doctor. Your fucking elbow hurts. Take an OxyContin. The smoking hot chick from fucking, Pfizer just sold it to me. And all she did was let me buy her dinner. That's how it goes. Hot chicks sell this to doctors. Now they got an obligation from Pfizer to sell this shit. So a kid comes in with a football injury, and he gives him an OxyContin. As a doctor, I fixed it. I got to fix your pain. They knew nothing about addiction. The kid takes the 15 OxyContin that are in the bottle. What's he want? More. Because that's what happens. His injury's gone, but he wants to keep getting high. Most people have that addictive personality. He goes back to the doctor. Doctor says, you got 2 refills. Gets a refill. Now, he takes the 15 in half the time because he's doubling up. Goes to the drugstore having withdrawals because by now you're in withdrawal. You're addicted to OxyContin at 17. For most people, by then, it's over for at least a little while. You're either going to fucking be out of the commission for a long time. If you had a football career, that's gone. You're not going to be able to get out of bed, maybe. And the fucking CVS pharmacist, who's let me tell you something. You must have prescription. Doesn't give a fuck. The doctor doesn't give a fuck. You can't get him on the phone to call the pharmacist and say, give me it early because he's fucking on a yacht. Why? Because he sold you an OxyContin. And Pfizer bought him a yacht. Now you're in withdrawals at 17. You don't know what the fuck is going on. You tell your parents who have never been drug addicts, I don't know what, I'm very sick. I don't know why. But I do know I feel like having an OxyContin. You somehow make it through the 7 days. But everything suffers. Your football, your work, now you can get a refill. You go, you get the refill. A day and a half later, it's gone. Because now you're tripling, you can't match the high again. Now, all the refills are gone. You can't call the doctor to get a new one because, even if he's not on the yacht, he's not going to do it. He doesn't want to get in trouble. So now this doctor, this is not an uncommon thing. I'm not trying to be funny here. Of course, Dave will say something to ruin it. But now the doctor got you addicted to OxyContin. He's a dealer. That's essentially what he is. He got paid to give you drugs. Your elbow injury was gone in 2 days. It would have been gone in 2 days anyway. And now you're in bad fucking shape. You're jonesing for that. So now you go to a party with your other dicklick friends, and you ask around. You'll be able to tell, believe me, who might have OxyContin. They may or may not have a darker skin. They may or may not have long hair and white. They may or may not look like John Ritchie, my old white partner. You can tell the drug users. They look like me. Usually have something on their shirt that looks like drool, throw up, or a cookie. Oh, God. Or leftover OxyContin. Or you snort glass with OxyContin. And then throw a woman off a balcony. Now you're a drug addict. You're a junkie. Okay. You want to so now you got a problem here. You got to detox that kid. He's always going to know the high, chase the high. That never happened to me at 17. There was weed, there was blow, but never opiates like that. If that happened to me at 17, and I tell kids who think I made it somehow as a junkie, I didn't. I wasn't a junkie when I was that age. I was a drug user, but not the opiates. I started in my mid-30s. I made my bones in the business before I got into it. These poor kids nowadays, like this kid, the kids I meet at AME, I went to an AME meeting in Pittsburgh. It was the most depressing thing ever. These kids, I feel a responsibility for these kids. Like, they're hugging me going, you can do it, we can do it. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. They go home as junkies. Their parents are stealing from them because they're in the same fucking boat. And the fucking pills are all over suburban Philadelphia. Suburban Pittsburgh, all those shacks, it's become a new drug. It used to be the inner city, like blowing stuff. This is all white trash kids with mullets who, when times are really bad, cook meth and have their nose blown off. The coke dealers used to look like Robert Loggia or Scarface. They were cool looking. The drug kingpins now, they look like the bass player for Van Halen with half a nose. Terrible mullet, a chubby redneck with access to a shack where they cook terrible meth, and I doubt they clean the spackle buckets. You don't know what you're smoking. Synthetic weed is out there, all this bullshit, but the opiates become a part of you. And any age, it could happen. If your parents are stealing from you because they're junkies too, that family will eventually be institutionalized or killed. I've been in withdrawal so bad that if I wasn't handcuffed to a bed by someone helping me, I would have killed myself. I would have jumped off a balcony. Now, I've always had money, so I've never, like Robert Downey Jr. in Less Than Zero, blew a guy. But I never asked.
Oh, God, thanks.
Dad, drive to Washington Heights. I'm going to give you an envelope. Just pick up the envelope. I can't. I've got the architecture group. What if I blow you?
Oh.
Don't act like it hasn't happened. So imagine me and my father both blew Dan.
Oh.
For heroin.
The odds of that.
That is the one thing more interesting and unique than the Ken Griffin.
Oh my God.
That would never happen. So what the doctors have to do, it's very simple. You got to go to the preventive stage, right? You got to go for like the shot, the vaccine. You got to have a doctor and sit them down and go, you're going to have to pass some sort of law, regulation, whatever. You have to sit these nerdy fucking doctors down when they're let out of the locker and say to them, listen, goody two-shoes, you cannot do this anymore. If you're caught giving OxyContin or an opiate to a teenager who may or may not need it, there's going to be some sort of hell to pay. What you're going to have to do is, I don't care how hot the fucking chick from Pfizer is, you have to be a human being. That's it. Like, computers aren't going to fix it. Science, it's human fucking emotion. You're going to have to sit a kid down, even if you got the shittiest bedside manner, and go, listen, Rocco, whatever. Appeal to their macho. Go, you seem like a tough kid. Your elbow hurts. You got to tell me, seriously, I want you to sit and think about it. Can you get through tonight? And maybe a little bit of tomorrow with the way your elbow hurts right now. Because I think you can. If you tell me you can't, I'm a doctor. I got to help you out. I'll give you a prescription. But I want to show you a little documentary called Artie Lang. So, show them what might happen. Mike Webster, the Steelers with no legs, living under a bridge. All the awful shit that could happen. And with this epidemic, like you check out of life. You don't get a shot. That could happen. Now, can you live with the elbow thing? Most of them hopefully will say yeah. And you know what? They can. And they don't make as much that year on the OxyContin. And you don't have a chance at even the girl lying to you to say she'll fuck you from Pfizer. She's going to fuck her gym teacher husband anyway. Christy Brinkley. You're going to get the daughter. Who looks like the stranger. That's what has to happen. Like it sounds goofy and corny. It's really simple, but you have to have human beings watching out for each other. The doctor has to have something called what ethics. It seems in law school they ream ethics book up your ass. In medical school, you really there's got to be ethics books. But what they teach you more is how to make money from Pfizer and maybe bang a blonde. Not everybody looks like Mannix. Here's a reference. So that in my humble junkie opinion what has to happen, and that'll take care of the OxyContin thing and it'll also indirectly take care of the heroin thing, or really directly, because the kids can't afford it, and that Mexican brown powder that a wall may or may not help, the little door for the good ones, it's not up yet. The Mexican brown is so fucking cheap. I'm not using any frame of reference, but delivered from Patterson is about $18. I'm guesstimating. No, it's cheap, and that's what you go to when you're a kid with no money and you can't afford the oxys anymore. But what gets you addicted and going for the heroin first? It's the fucking doctor. And if I'm being too hard on the doctors, it's because I am being too hard on the doctors. You got a major responsibility in this, and the drug companies do too. The Taliban are drug pushers. They don't make money on terrorism. They make money on dope. They go to these pomegranate farmers in Kandahar and say, look, you can make 16 cents a month with the pomegranate, or $1,500 a week with the poppy. But if you say no, we're going to kill you anyway. That's what happens. So they grow it. The Taliban gets it. They sell it illegally and legally. The real dope companies, Pfizer and down the line, the pharmaceutical companies buy from the Taliban too. It's their oil and fucking dope. And dope is a bigger moneymaker. And if you go directly there to say under the guise of doing stand-up comedy that you're headlining, you get dope that hasn't been shit out at gunpoint in the Bronx by Maria full of grace. Maria full of opium. It's really sad. But even parrots are getting into it. That's how strong it is. Fucking animals. But in the animal world, there's even smarter people who are not degenerates. There's the ones going, fuck this. I'm going to DeVry. Polly go to DeVry. Polly go to DeVry. Polly go to DeVry. Polly sell bras and girdles. Polly sell bras and girdles.
How dare you?
Polly go to open mic. Polly steal joke from Wendy Liebman. Polly steal joke from Wendy. No, but I'm one of the idiots. I'm one of the risk takers. I thought it was so cool to take a risk. And I took it. And listen, it's the reason I'm not the King of Queens, maybe. There's other reasons. Leah Remini hated me. I've seen certain people I feel are less talented sort of shoot past me on the career thing. Maybe I'm wrong. My mother thinks I'm more talented. That's very nice of her. But I'm not getting up. I'm not getting up for the audition for High Fidelity or School of Rock. I'm not getting up for that because I'm on heroin. But somebody wasn't on heroin, and he went to the audition for School of Rock. One of us was an all-county baseball player. Well, I didn't think I'd be cast as a fat guy in School of Rock. And I was on heroin. I was on heroin the day the fat guy from There's Something About Mary. Right? And I could do a great retard. Who points to Ben Stiller's crotch and says, your balls are in a knot. No. I go back and tackle me. I don't know what happened, but part of me is that much of a degenerate. And it's the mindset I'm trying to get into. I want the last part of this book to go, the ultimate risk, everything leads back to, I would actually risk trying out dope, and then when I'm addicted to it, you chase it. And now at this point, the only good thing that can come out of this, the reason I would write this book, number one, helping out kids. Number two, about $300,000. All right. So, and obviously,
yeah,
I had an epiphany. That's what. It's very simple. And this parrot story is what we're going to lead with. And I've been saying I already wanted a heroin for a long time. And also maybe trying to help kids with that thing. What are your initial thoughts on that, Anthony? This is our work process. I say something like that, and Anthony writes a book.
Yeah.
That should be the last. I want that to be the last part.
Yeah. Okay.
Because me and Anthony, you people read on Twitter what looks like an arrest and conviction to you. To me and Anthony is the last chapter. And book number 4. So very dear to my heart. Dave, I'm sorry I had to sit through 2 stories that were impressive.
Shut up, dum-dum.
Hello, was that Michael Caine?
It was the Great Kazoo.
I know. No shit. I'll end with an Harvey Korman speech from Blazing Saddles. Men, you're about to embark on a great mission. You'll be helping to stamp out runaway decency in the West. Now you will only be risking your lives, whilst I will be risking an almost certain Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Now, raise your right hand for the pledge. Right hand. I, your name, Schmucks, do hereby pledge allegiance